controllers, listen up. Give me a go, no go for launch. Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We go fly.
Guidance.
Guidance go.
Procedures.
Go.
Inco.
Go.
FAO.
We are go.
Capcom.
We're go fly.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome everyone tonight. Hope everyone's doing good. Hopefully our audio works out well. Adam, can you hear us okay? All right. Can you talk to me? Hell yeah, I can hear you. Awesome, wonderful, holy mackerel. Now, the question is, can the people out there hear him okay? I need to probably scroll down here to the bottom, make sure we're getting some audio going on, which it looks like we do. Hey, Ray, what's going on, buddy? Ryzen, Ike, thanks, hung out with Ike the last night and stuff. That was cool. Alexander and Ray and Greg, and we got all kinds of people in here tonight. Looks like things are working pretty good. Go ahead and say something, Adam. I want to see if your voice comes through the meter here. No, you're not. Okay. Let me go over here to my other one here. Say something again. I know, I'm not seeing you come through here. Hold on a second. You're coming through on this part here.
Someone decided to dink with things again, and it wasn't me.
No, not really.
Yeah, you did.
I know. What's weird is audio input capture. That's coming in there. It should be sending him there. Let's try him on B.
Oh, yeah, that's what you had to do last time.
Okay,
remember?
now I'll try.
Can you hear me? Check, check. 1, 2.
He's coming through, but we can't hear him. Okay, try it again.
Check, check. 1, 2.
I hear you. Yeah?
You hear me?
Yes?
Can they hear me?
Yep, they can.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I
Praise
seen the meter.
Lord. Woo!
I feel
All
like
right,
this is like
so
a
that
crappy
ain't bad.
Verizon commercial.
What?
I feel like it's a crappy Verizon commercial I'm on right now.
No kidding. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hear me now?
Yeah, so I mean, it's it gets confusing when you think about it because the program doesn't find everything that it needs. So you have to go through virtual crap, and then you get thinking, okay, well, I need an output, but it goes to the input, and the input goes to the output, and then it's like, I got to send it to this one, to that one, to that one, to this one, blah, 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 blah.
What he said.
Yeah, it's just goofy. It's just goofy. You don't have to do that. It don't make no sense, but you're an Apple guy.
Yeah, mine's super easy.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, it's working, and I see we're perfect in the yellow area, which is perfect there, and then I got the compressor. I mean, I've learned a lot on it, but problem is I always want to start early and practice with it and dink with it, and then we never get around to it, unfortunately. And
To fix our screen, hold on. I gotta hit the thingy.
it works.
I
Just
was
leave it
never
alone.
able to figure out that voice meter, banana meter, or whatever it's called.
It's not too bad because, I mean, I understand it's the virtual thing, but I thought I had it all figured. There, it's back.
Both
Whatever.
Of us. So you need to copy those settings over. So let me fix this while you're talking. You
Just
guys-
click behind it.
Yes, just carry on.
All right, so what we'll just pretend nothing's going on. It looks fine from here. Oh, I see what you're saying. It's basically it's not on the preview. It looks like it's fine from here. Why are you dinking with it?
Because I don't like it.
You don't like it, so she don't like it. That's the reason why she's got to mess with it.
Go that way.
Yeah, she don't swing that way. What?
Who does?
Who knows, man? She didn't know what the pineapple stood for either,
There it
and
is.
now
I fixed it. So now let's go back to us twice.
why is it-
Okay.
oh, now we're double stacked.
Now we should have, hopefully you can hear everything.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can see that meter flying, we're good to go. We're like rolling the dice. It's all good. So you guys had a good show on Friday. I watched and stuff.
Thank you. I found out after the show that you were standing by to come on, I guess. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I asked Joe, I said, I thought this was Adam's show. And he got all offended. He goes, no, we all share this show. And I'm like, well, why don't you make sure it's okay with Adam first? Oh, I don't need to ask him. It's okay. And I texted him on Friday. I'm like, dude, do you still need me or you want me? Stand by. I never heard crap again. I'm like, you son of a gun. So like, that's all right. We just won't invite you on Sunday. That's fine. No problem. You
Yeah,
darn
screw him. He sucks.
freaking Canadian. I'm telling you what. Working all those beater homes that he works in. So get the rivalry going, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good show and everything. Everything went really good. Did you see the crazy man there do his beard promo there on how to?
Oh yeah, did you see that?
What's that?
Bill, he did a
video?
show. Yeah, on the beard. How to? Yeah, that was interesting.
And I asked him, I was like, because like I was dying, like I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't open the shower curtain, and he's like naked. And then when he had his full clothes on, I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if his wife knows about this. And I put that in his chat, and he said she wasn't home at the time.
Nice.
So boy, is she going to be surprised if she's going to watch that later.
Well, she may.
Did you
Oh.
notice the picture in his bedroom?
I did. I pointed that out, and Rick's like, no, it's not.
I said it might have been. Well, it was like I was doing the guys that run the Discord server. We was hanging out with them on Friday. Also, I think it was. He showed me how to do a few things. You know what you forgot to do over here, top right?
It doesn't matter because it's not showing.
Oh.
So there.
That's funny. But yeah, I was hanging out with them and stuff, and the one they network with some dude from England or something, and they had.
Now look. Let's get this. They're right here in the chat. We had Ike HVAC, and Jeff the maintenance man.
I forget the guy's name
And
from
Connor.
England. Connor, there we go. Yeah, he put a big old. His background for his green screen was freaking Chris, and his face was huge.
And it was a really like priceless fit. Like it was funny.
You're kind of like looking at the screen, and you look up, and it's like, whoa, his freaking eyeballs are looking at me again. So it wasn't near as invasive as what that freaking picture is on the side of the bed there. But you know, I've thought about doing that, but I don't want nobody to see who I've got beside my bedstand. So. But it was interesting. That was cool. We learned some new tricks and stuff. Hackery. It's all good. But you have a chance to check out the video or anything that I did. I threw out another one on Saturday.
I did not yet. I will.
Okay. Let me down.
I usually Sundays are like weird days for me, just because like everyone's around and blah blah blah. But Mondays, everyone's like on video games and doing their homework and everything. So that's my YouTube time. Although Chris is on Monday, but during the week, generally, you know.
Yeah. Be home 9:57. The only reason why we did that on the screen,
That's
like
what I was typing out right now.
I just was going to do it. The reason why we put it on there is because a lot of times it doesn't come up anytime soon. It does now, but the people that want to come back in later that don't get on now. Sometimes has to wait a day or two before it'll show up because depending on how long we broadcast, it takes YouTube nearly a day sometimes or longer. If we go for 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, it takes a lot longer for YouTube to process it before they can add the live chat back in. So she ended up doing what the gamers did and added that on the right-hand side, which, you know, we could always bounce that out. But it does show us the live count of who's watching, which we got 53 people out there, which is awesome, guys. Woo. Don't forget to smack the thumb button, whether you like us or not. And it also kind of tells us when people subscribe and when people donate money and things like that, which, you know, it was something to kind of make it cool and new and different stuff. But the video was one of them. I'm trying to remember what exactly it was over. It was on one. It was a disaster call. I did a walk-in cooler for a customer that we had not done a whole lot of work for. And basically, I get out there and it had burnt wires, and then it turned into I had compressor issues, and I had leak, and I had all kinds of issues going on. And it just one thing after another, and you know, there's the backstory of the video I can't talk about, you know, that was making me try to get it done quicker, and you know, it was a disaster. So to say the least, we haven't, as far as I know, unless we sold them a new one, I haven't been back to fix it, so I don't know what's going to end up happening with it. But basically, I had a monster leak that one of the guys could hear it, and when I was shooting it with the big blue and stuff, I played it back because it's amazing what people pick up on. And I played it back, and I heard it then on that, and it's like, well, I didn't hear it when I was in the room, so I must be going deaf. But it was leaking on the freaking distributor tubes, which I've brazed those before, and I don't know if you've ever done it before, but I did it in the attic once on an air handler. The thing came apart on me, everything all over the place. Then I tried rebrazing it, and it just turned into a mess, and I ended up having to buy a new distributor, and it just, I was not looking forward to going back and working on that. So hopefully I don't end up having to do it. I don't know. We'll see. But, you know.
Yeah, that's always sketchy when you're doing distributor tubes or like the U-bends, if like we're right at the joint, something like that. Like if there's a leak you're trying to repair, they can go south very quickly, you know?
I don't mind the U-bend, but the distributor scares me a little bit, especially as rough looking as it was. Because, I mean, it was kind of pitted.
It was rough.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just, I don't know. Everything would be bidded. So if I don't do it in the time frame, I'm losing money. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it was so contaminated in there. Even the Stratus had a hard time because it just got overwhelmed, and it went to 0. And as soon as I walked out, came back in, it started working okay. But yeah, looks like Chris finally got one of the Stratuses too. Had to give him a hard time on his battery going dead. But what U-bends, new coil on my world. So on that geothermal of yours, basically they had the source and load backwards. How did you end up noticing that? Just following it or what?
I honestly didn't notice that. I did not notice it, but so the guy that does the drilling, like he's like the main driller for all geothermal in the Chicagoland area. There's probably like a small handful, but he probably does 80% of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he also does geothermal start to finish too. So he does full jobs, and his main line is Climate Master. So he's like, "You have this backwards." I said, "No, I
Nice.
don't. Look at the label." He's like, "I don't care what the label says. It's backwards."
But
And
both
I didn't
coax
look-
coils are about the same size, aren't they?
They're the same size. Yeah, they're exactly the same size actually. My thing was, I just wanted it to be right.
Sure.
I did not want to half-ass it and just leave it the way it was, number one. But number two, when they're switched like that, okay, so on your source side, I'm using it for primary heating only. It's not that big of a deal, but still, like, for a job that high-end,
Yeah, you don't want it wrong.
I don't want to, like, look like a jackass for somebody else in the future, right?
Absolutely.
And it only took, I mean, I didn't repipe the load side yet, but it only took about a half hour to fix the source side and repipe
Did you just
it.
have to unscrew it? I mean, was it rubber hose, or was one of them solid?
I had to cut new rubber hose, but the whole thing, I had to drain. What happened?
I don't know. She's wanting to tell me something.
I forgot something that I put in Streamlabs to kind of spice up the chat a little bit. And our little Streamlabs bot just rolled my question. So we now have a magic 8-ball for all of the chatters out there. So what you do to ask the magic 8-ball a question, you actually type in the exclamation point, then 8-ball, and then put your question inside the little carrots. And then when you hit enter, there's a list, there's a preset amount of responses that you could get at random. So if anybody wants to play, I forgot I put that in there.
Did you
Oh,
set
that's-
the responses?
Yes.
Mm.
Shenanigans on my part. So yeah, if anybody would like to play.
Yeah, you never know about her. She's always got something up her sleeve.
The
Please
funny
start.
thing is, I struggled so much with streaming. You guys are learning too, and there's like 12-year-old kids across the freaking world that are doing it no problem. Like way more
Yeah.
complex stuff that we're doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem doing it live for the most part, but because we're doing it virtually, that's what's kind of confusing. But, you know, I think what makes it worse is we both have the same mixer. Basically, it's able to give you your voice without even being hooked to anything. So in reality, that's not a true sense of what's really going out to the people. And I think that's where a lot of the problems happen, especially when you figure that the way it's designed, it goes to what we're using for our interceptor there, the StreamYard, and we're only using them for capturing video. You know, it kind of gets kind of cooey. It's the TXV. Yeah.
I put in there it's the TXV. So two people asked, and it actually gave them responses. So you guys can pick and choose what response you want. But that's funny. It actually worked.
Yeah, because I made a hat, and then on my hat, it says on the back piece, it says it's the TXV. I figure why not? Everybody always condemns it anyway. Might as well say it's it. So that's what we ended up putting on it. But yeah. But yeah,
sometimes it is the TXV.
It is, especially on the geothermals. I don't know how many you've had to change, but on the older Climate Masters, I've changed probably at least 7 or 8 or more.
How old?
From like the 2011 through 2013 area when they had that funky monkey in the compressor oil, the rust inhibitor crap.
I mean, that was everyone.
Yeah, I only noticed it with those though, and it was such. I think it's probably because it's such more of an issue because you had to recover the whole system. And I think it's what makes it more difficult because you can't just pump it down. But I've only got one of those water-to-water source geos like you have. We use it for a snow melt at a library, and so I've tested it the other way around just to kind of see, curiosity to see what happens and stuff, but not a big deal. But yeah, you're just rejecting heat into the cooling loop or vice versa. But yeah.
So you would have to just energize or de-energize the reversing valve depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, because I'm going to say, I ain't for certain, but you could probably pull the specs up on it and find out what is your heating output and heat versus cooling. But since the loop's going to be higher or lower, I bet it probably works out to being the same because, your flow rate is really, have you ever played with flow rate? You can speed the water up and your temperature drop or rise will go down. But when you do the math, it ends up working out all the same, whether you go really fast or you go really slow, as long as you get at least that 1.5 gallon flow per ton. I played with it thinking I was doing some efficiency changes and I haven't noticed a humongo difference on it.
Wait, they're going after the 8 ball, man. They're really having a good time with that.
You know Ike will, because he's a computer geek, so.
The answer is within yourself.
I didn't know that Ike guy, he's actually in HVAC and stuff, so I thought he was just, the personal computer guru there for Christopher there, but he's actually going to school for this stuff. Showed me his school online and everything, virtual tour and all that. So
look at the, so what's the common problem with geothermal heat pump system? Its response, only if you use trigger control.
That ain't even close.
No, it's not.
You needed to think more like freaking Alexa or whatever.
Speaking of trigger control, it was funny on Friday. I was doing a furnace install with my helper, and I just give him simple stuff to do, But he was using an impact, and what was he screwing? Something that was plastic. Oh, the drain that comes out of the bottom of a condensing furnace. You have to screw it in with 2 screws, and I'm like, just go easy on that. It's plastic, you'll crack it. And he's like, oh, I cracked it. I'm like, I just told you to go easy on it. As soon as you hear that thing clicking, back up, man. So then every time, and then I buy those zip ties. Do you ever use the zip ties that you could buy with the holes in them?
Yeah,
you could actually screw them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing the same thing with that. And I'm like, you got to go slower. You're cracking all this stuff. So then whenever I pick up the impact from now on, it's on like speed 1. I'm like, what the crap is this? I can't deal with this.
A Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so creeper. Yeah, that's super creeper.
Speaking of Milwaukee, they have some cool new stuff out too.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get that new 12-volt light they got. I've been trying to get away from my Bosch. That's what keeps me on it. And they came out with a new 12-volt that's supposedly, I think, 60 or 70 bucks, and it has a USB. What'd you just do? You probably just knocked us off by doing what you're doing. Hello, all that's showing on our screen. Laura, pay attention. You can't do that. You got to drag it over to the other one. Drag that from there over to the other screen.
I will. I can't get the mouse to go.
Don't do that. Don't. You just shut down the whole thing. Well, you just completely knocked us out. Why?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Look, see, we're what are you doing? You said I don't know what I'm doing. Who's just hitting buttons? You did this last time.
Well, then get it back up.
Good Lord.
I was trying to fix it.
Well, it was working just fine. So now we got to get Adam back in here. Hold on, guys. This wouldn't be a freaking stream without a total crash and burn here. So there's that. There's that. So there's that.
Normally, when you open a new window, it comes up.
Well, you got to remember, since we're using 2 screens, this screen's a screen capture. You can't sit there and do that.
Unacceptable.
No, you just got to think about what you're doing before you go doing it.
We need a 3rd screen.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
It would. It would make everything
Oh,
better.
yeah, it'd be so much better. There we go. Drag it over to there. Will you get off my mouse?
I'm not on your mouse.
You're on my flipping mouse.
No, your mouse is right there. I'm not touching it.
All right, so hold on a second. Oops, there he is. Boom, boom.
Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, she was screwing with. Wait a minute. I'm still working here.
I'm not using the mouse. I'm using mine.
All right, you stay on your mouse. Quit playing with my mouse.
I don't have your mouse.
Whatever. You're driving me crazy again.
You're driving me crazy.
Whatever. So I've got like 2 sets of chats. I don't even know what to do with this crap. You got it all jacked up. Now we still aren't on the screen yet. What's going on here?
I don't know.
What's happening, Pepsi Cola? She screwed with it, and then now we got to get our capture card back up. I'm not sure exactly why exactly whatever's doing what. It should be capturing that right there, and why it's not is beyond me. And we got 2 screens open now.
There, I fixed it.
What are you doing? Do it again. That's fine. That's what's over here. But you got to go over.
You need to get rid of that.
We've got so many tags open here.
Well, you've got them all open.
You're driving me nuts. What the heck's this crap?
Get it. Get rid of it. You
I'm
don't,
getting
you
rid of
don't
it.
need Facebook open.
Well-
See there, it's fine.
Yeah, now we're back up. Good grief.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, your mama. Good now. Thanks, Ray. What's up, Chris? Sam, what's going on, buddy?
Welcome to the shit show.
You ain't a kidding.
Hey, that's our tagline. Didn't work
Is
out
it?
though.
I should have just gave you the freaking intro there, because I mean nothing else quite. I mean, it's doing a lot better than what it has been in the past. I mean, we've had some major issues there, but oh well. You guys got any questions about the video or anything like that you want me to go over? Otherwise, me and Adam are just going to talk about stuff. Anybody from Florida catch the rocket launch?
What rocket launch?
Why are y'all talking about rocket launches?
Oh, SpaceX did a launch today.
Is that a whatchamacallit?
To bring the guys up to the space station, you know?
Nice. That thing's like 20-some years old. It's like ghetto.
I think they said it's only meant to last, what they say, 30 years or something? It's like it coming to an end.
Well, I mean, we've been using the
maybe-
Russians to get up there for how long now? Since Obama got rid of our space shuttle? The same people that supposedly it's taken over the world there? Craziness.
I thought the last launch was back with Bush, wasn't it?
No, Obama shut down the space shuttle deal, and then we started paying the Russians to take us up there. Because if you remember the Romney and Obama debate, Romney said our biggest worry was Russia and China, and Obama said 1990 called the Cold War their president back or something like that, and made fun of him. And then Trump gets elected, and next thing you know, the Russians came back and they played with the election. It was interesting. So I don't know. Anyhow, what? Why is the Streamlabs thing saying, "Are you joking?" PogChamp. What the heck's it doing?
That's the 8-ball answer.
Oh,
Just go back to sleep.
have a flippin' Dentley. So are you done with that job then with that Geo thing, or is that like a multi-week thing?
Oh, that's been freaking a multi-month thing. I do a little bit at a time. We're kind of I have to show like a picture of this room. We have to layer things in there. So it's like between us, electricians, plumbers, sprinkler fitters, our AV guys. But yeah, it's going to cost a fortune if anything goes wrong in that room.
Nice. I know the boss's brother-in-law. He's got a house. It's like freaking. It's laid out like one of our factories. I mean, they got uni-strut. They got freaking hanging brackets. He's got he has multiple boilers and all kinds of different things all over in his own little like HVAC room, and then he has DVR system down there. It's pretty slick. I'm like, man, that's pretty neat. But it sounds like one of those kind of houses.
I'd like to do that in my house, but I want it to be a little bit bigger so you could actually turn around and walk in the room.
Oh.
And what I've always wanted was to line the walls with diamond plate. I thought that's super cool looking, you know?
Yeah. JD says the space shuttle lived out its error 25 years, as planned. Would you want to ride in a 39-year-old Goodman? Yeah.
I always think about that with commercial planes, right? They say like the average age of those things is like, I can't remember what it is, but it's like a little bit troubling to think about it, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, usually they go through everything and do the, all the fancy checks, or at least they make you believe that you are. But I'm sure it's just like all the other
knowing
things.
like the intelligence of the average person out there and how little they want to actually do and succeed at their job. Who's doing these checks is what I'd like to know, right?
Honest to goodness, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of getting to the point. I forget what it was that set me off as usual, and it was like nobody wants to work. Nobody cares about anything they do. Their work, nothing. They have no pride in anything, and I'm tired of always being the only one that does it because I never get it in return. And what was it on Friday that put me into that mood? Do you remember?
Just life in general.
Probably. So I think it kind of makes me sometimes just want to say, you know what, I'm just going to go in there and just wipe it off, change the filter, knock around on the ductwork for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then go do something else, and then I'm done. But every time I want to do that, I end up having to, like, not do that. I can't do it. I try, but I can't. So can't be as judgmental as me and then not do the job right. It makes it difficult as much as I, wish that other people would do the same thing in return. But Wild Wild West, what's going on? We are doing whatever you guys bring up. You guys aren't throwing me nothing here, so I'm like got nothing to bounce back at you. I thought about some things we could talk about, but I got shot down on those. She said they were too controversial. Profiling customers, stuff like that. She thought that wasn't right. So, it was kind of like to help the new guys out, how to not get in trouble going into a customer's house saying stupid things that I said when I was new,
I mean, if you want to share all your stupid things that come out of your mouth, go for it.
Yeah. So.
Financially profiling? Racially profiling?
Just trying to get a personality profile. Nothing, bad wise, just kind of to figure out what kind of person they are, as far as, what kind of things can you probably say around this person? Are we going to have to keep it all weather related and just the facts or?
One thing I did notice is when you have a good rapport with a new customer, you think you're like buddy with them, but that can change very quickly.
In a heartbeat.
So like you shouldn't get too comfortable with customers, I would say,
Yeah, I've made that mistake, and it sucks because you kind of start trusting them because they're playing along too because they're probably wanting the best job possible. So they're like trying to relax you by saying, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah." That's how this guy did it. That's fine. I don't care as long as you do it right. And then you end up saying something you shouldn't said, and next thing you know, you get called in on. Yeah. But since we have such a diverse crowd, sometimes it's really hard to kind of go into subjects like that because, I mean, you've got everybody that's already been doing it, and you've got ones that we've got quite a few that are just now graduating and are probably a little, worried about that first time they go out on their own and, the customer being over their back and watching what they're doing and things like that. And, I mean, it's kind of hard to juggle, talking about those sort of things in addition, while still not, like, boring the guys that have been doing it forever to death. So
I was actually thinking about starting to do videos again, but very short videos and like super basic videos on things that because I notice when I'm teaching somebody, they miss on the very basic fundamentals of every little thing, right? Because they just weren't ever taught it. So I would just give like a 1 or 2 minute video showing something that's super basic that you see that's wrong in the field all the time. When you're on a service call that somebody else did or whatever, just do like little snippets. Don't try to Brian Orr is awesome. He does some intense stuff. His videos are awesome, but I think a lot of the stuff is quite a bit over a good portion.
It's advanced. It's definitely advanced. But I mean, I guess kind of would be similar to going back, and that's the reason why I haven't done it, because I mean, like the Furnace Man or whatever, Gray Furnace Man, and the other guy, Dr. whoever, them guys did simple things like, this is a transformer. It has a primary and a secondary. It's 10-to-1 ratio of the windings, and you can reverse it. You can put 24 into it and get 120 out of it. And just you could go through all those sort of things, and then maybe even talk about VA ratings and how you actually find out how many amps can a 40 VA transformer put out. And I mean, you don't have to get into, all the craziness, but I mean, checking a circuit as far as measuring across it versus measuring to ground. How many times have you seen a new guy do that, measuring to common to that, or just chassis ground to it? And, well, I got voltage on both sides. It's closed. No, it's not.
Speaking of which, I ran a kind of a goofy call. I've never seen this before, but I ran a goofy call yesterday. Tell me what your thoughts are on this. So it's about a 1-year-old furnace we put in, condensing furnace. It was going off. It looked like it was going off on flame sense, like the flames would stay lit for a couple seconds and kick off, right?
Mm-hmm.
My dad was there, and it was in a super tight spot. He's got a very bad knee. He tore his, what is it called, meniscus or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but he's got a really bad knee, so he couldn't like really get in there. And a 40,000 BTU furnace is super tight to change the flame sensor on. So I went there. I got the flame sensor in. It was
Can I
doing the
interrupt
same
you for a
thing.
moment? I want to give JD props. Thank you,
Recognition.
JD, for that super check, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I got the flame sensor in, and the same thing happened with the new flame sensor. So I'm trying to measure, with my meter. I'm not getting anything, 0. And I start checking ground. So I'm looking at the ground wire, and then I'm actually looking at the burner, the screw where the ground wire is connected to on the burner box. And I'm referencing like water pipes, all different stuff. I have ground. I'm checking my resistance from the burner to the circuit board on the green wire and the 12-pin connector. I have good connection. The ground is fine. I actually ran a secondary ground just to be safe to another water pipe, not the ground. Okay. Then what I measured, before all this, I obviously measured incoming voltage. I measured the transformer output. But then what I checked was the voltage output on the flame sensor wire. It seemed kind of low. It was like 15 volts.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if something is going on with the board. I did not have that board, so we have to go back to replace it. But I can't think of anything else. The only thing I've ever seen not measuring, is having a bad ground. That's it.
What furnace was it? What brand?
Cinemana.
Okay. I had a Ream do this to me a year ago, and it totally broke me down to the point where I thought I was an idiot because, I got ringed through the ringer. I went through, verified polarity was right, made sure I had 120 on the right thing, made sure grounds were right, went through. Yeah. I even went straight to the board on the Molex connector and plugged in there, ran a wire through my meter up to the flame sensor, and that's when I finally started figuring out what was going on. But I went with a universal board.
What did you do? Say that again.
I literally went. Since it was a Ream furnace. Okay, it was like the spark ignition Ream board, which I don't even know if they've changed much since. It was from at least probably 10 years ago, and it was spark ignition with flame sense, and it had a dedicated flame wire. The old ones didn't have it, but they had an orange wire that had a tendency to have problems at the Molex plug as it went through the blower compartment Molex plug there. So I went straight from that to the tip of the spade terminal on the flame sensor. Didn't get much, and I even got my 87.5 fluke out, which is real super sensitive because I thought maybe my meter's not working right. Put gator clips on it. Went, like I said, I went right into the board itself.
You got nothing.
No, it was like nothing at all to the point where something didn't make sense. But yet I had the 120 volts or 100 volts or whatever. And come to find out when it was all said and done, because I'm not a believer in replacing flame sensor. If the flame sensor isn't cracked, then it's a scam, in my opinion, to replace the flame sensor unless it's totally sanded down and is broke or something, or it's chewed up from getting so hot. The people that sell them just for shits and giggles so they don't have to clean them, that's a scam to me. I mean, I haven't had one yet that they couldn't just clean it and it worked just fine. Now, I know there's certain brands out there that eat them up. I mean, Lennox was really good about not baking the flame sensor, but they're, the old Goodmans or some of the older, cheaper furnaces back in the day. Laka, thanks, man. Alaska, sorry.
I've never, do you see what he's saying there?
Adam, check between neutral and ground at the breaker panel and breaker to the furnace. High resistance to the panel. Make the flame signal bad.
I have never heard that before, but
You're verifying your ground's good. Yep.
Well, I did check between I checked between neutral to ground. I also checked between common and neutral, just to see if there was a 2, 3, 4 volt difference. What did I screw up just now?
What? I mean, this thing ended up throwing me for a fit, but what it ended up being, there was some sort of weird coding on where the spade terminal went at, and I ended up finally wire brush wheeling that freaking thing and then put it on there, and then I went back to the OEM board because I used, they didn't have the, I tried to save them some money. I went, instead of getting the Ream board, whoever makes it, I end up going with the, and they're American manufacturer. It was a direct replacement, but it was, not UEI, they're out of Florida, but I end up going back to the OEM board, changed the flame sensor, boom, done. And I've never had that before. And I checked everything. I mean, I beat my head into the wall for I don't know how long. And it's like, how long I've been doing this? So that one was a humbling furnace that really threw me for a loop. But yeah, Linux has got some really good troubleshooting like that, where they will tell you to start checking between your low voltage and stuff and then checking your high voltage, which I never heard doing it the way they explained it, but yeah. New furnaces don't seem like they have the issues the old ones had. The old ones were so
I just don't think the polarity's reversed unless somebody was messing with the electrical in his house and maybe Alaska's onto something, because this has been installed for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
And it's worked fine.
Yeah, because
it
I
was
mean,
the same thing with 2 different flame sensors. So
really,
read 0 with the brand new one, which is
so did you get it fixed, or is it still doing it?
No, they have two furnaces in the house. This is for 2 rooms. That's all it's for. So we have to go back and get I mean, I was gonna try a circuit board. That's all I could think of. I thought that voltage, the output voltage on the flame sensor wire seemed a little bit low. And it was like every so often it was giving me kind of a weird code too on the circuit board. It wasn't giving me an actual red, fault when it would fail on ignition. So that was like another thing that was kind of alarming.
It sounds similar to what I was having, because I mean, I know when I first started, man, I condemned control boards like crazy. I had ones I knew would work better on FlameSense than others, and I liked going back to the old days, like the Honeywell Universal Spark Ignition and Universal Hot Surface Ignition boards, the 1000 whatevers. I mean, I used to change those out left and right from the White Rogers, and I like the Honeywell because it had 100% retry and everything else. And I mean, these guys have no clue on, like the younger guys, they have no clue on those sort of days where, now it's all integrated for the last, 20 years. But yeah, I used to change boards like crazy on some of that stuff. It always worked, but.
Did you see the question in here from Jason?
Things are flying, so it's hard.
He said, I have a question for both of you. When you are checking up on a system that another company has been working on and the customer was charged for parts that were not put on, do you tell the customer?
Basically throw them under the bus?
Yeah, a previous like another company.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it to your own company, but I mean, you don't have to cut their throat, but I mean, you wouldn't be a bad idea to be honest with them. Hey, here's what I found, but being sure you're right, because I mean, I found some parts bad on a ice machine once, and then this other guy, I know him, he came in and said, oh no, that's not what's wrong with it, and changed one other part, and it worked for a day, and then it stopped again, and yeah, it's nothing better than have to send your parts back or whatever, and somebody else says it's not good or didn't need it, and then they were wrong. But so you want to make dang sure you're right. But I don't see nothing wrong with saying this ain't what's wrong.
I found two service calls recently that we were on. I'm kind of hearing myself a little bit. No, it went away. I think they were maintenance calls, but that I sent a previous employee out to replace a part on 2 different systems, and showing up there realizing they never replaced the part.
Oh, that's great.
Which was troubling, which, what I did was kept my mouth shut and replace it, but it was like condensate hoses on a condensing furnace that were leaking, like rotted out. Give them the hoses, you need to replace this. They don't replace the hoses.
And you build them for it.
You build them for it. And that's like, what are you paying people for, if they're not actually doing their job? I don't understand it.
I remember one guy was getting ready to quit, and I showed up to the job, and he didn't like do anything he should have done that I knew he normally would have done. I mean, he wasn't hooking up switches. He was just wiring it up fast and trying to get out of there and didn't care. And I see why a lot of people cut you loose and don't really take the 2 weeks unless they absolutely have to, because a lot of people just don't care. Mm-hmm. My feeling is bust your ass because you don't know that new job you go into may not work out and you may need to go back, which I've gone back before. So, I mean, never burn your bridge. That's stupid.
Hey, I've got another question. So, Detecting Arizona, he asked, have y'all had a furnace keep the fans on without a thermostat? And it happens to be an Airflow brand furnace.
Keep the fan on.
Without a thermostat.
Without a thermostat? Like just jumping R to G down at the furnace?
Apparently.
I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Arizona, you may have to elaborate on that.
I like Airflow. Airflow, Duquesne, and they're
That's
exactly the
'cause
same.
Rick farts a lot, so we always have to have the, airflow going to help.
Yeah, I don't ever shut my fan off.
With
It
his
runs
gas.
24/7 since
Rick is very gassy.
2001. You have anything to say on that, Adam?
Airflow, fan moving.
Airflow brand. It's the same as a Duquesne.
Oh.
It's made by Allied Air, which is the same as freaking Linux.
I have never been a fan of Duquesne and that, and their furnaces just sucked. Oh, those are the ones with like the 3 doors to work on, right?
That was the old ones. I mean, that was a long time ago.
He said the disconnected wires from the furnace and both fans are running. So he actually he disconnected the wires from the furnace, and it still kept both fans running.
Sounds like a limit switch is open to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, that's kind of a default. And that's something you guys can do too. When you guys are all doing these boring PMs that you hate, I know I hate doing them, start learning the furnace, especially if it's the brand you guys sell. You can pull the limit switch off and see what the code is, see how the furnace reacts, see how it shuts down, pull off different limits. How many times does it, learn how many times it takes for it to fail out, find out what, the pressure switch, unplug it, check the pressures. There's a lot of things you guys could do. It's kind of a little tip thingamajig there.
And someone else asked in the chat the best way to troubleshoot a high pressure switch.
My
You
manometer.
could do it with you could do it with a meter too. Is it opening? Is it closing? Right? Measure voltage across it.
Hey.
Yeah, that and the manometer though to make sure you got plenty. Manom.
I can't help it.
I mean, I always kind of.
A pressure switch tester, the field piece one.
That's what I got.
It's kind of cool, but I don't know.
So, yeah, Detecting Arizona said the unit will cool or heat, but when the temp reaches, I guess what the thermostat's probably calling for, the fans still run. So I wonder if
Check your fan board. You might have a constant terminal there where you hook the heat onto. Some of the older furnaces had one where it would run all the time if you hooked that spade terminal on the control board. That might be what it is.
Did you try pulling the G wire?
No, not the G wire.
Yeah. So if it ain't the G string, you may want to check, see if it ain't on a continuous blower, because there's a terminal there.
Ricky says Ricky's got that going on with the Nest. I'm wondering how the Nest is set up. Is it set up for, is it a gas furnace and it's set up for electric and it's actually pulling on the G, setting voltage to G? I don't know.
Dave G, did you realize the detector? Yeah,
responding.
I did. That's why I kind of gave Chris some crap on his video, because I was like the second person, and I razzed him about getting a new detector, and then at the end there, he ends up saying, "Hey, look what I bought." Yeah, when I had mine, that's why I traded that Select back in, because like I said, it was brand new when I did that video on it, and they swapped it out for the new Detect 3. So. Yeah, when it flashed, that's what I hated about it. It was most of the time it would go dead almost like sometimes 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's supposed to be an hour, but then again, that thing was supposed to have like 6 or 7 hours. But the recharge time sucked and everything else sucked, and that's the reason why I'm glad I got rid of it. So
someone else asked the question, what do you guys check first when you come in and there's a trip breaker on a unit?
I talk to the customer first. What did it do? Does it always do this? Has it ever done it before? Have you had many problems with it? I try to get a history of it, and then I'll end up going over to the furnace, and I'll start checking with the breaker off, checking hot to ground, see if it's like what kind of resistance to ground do I got. If it's a real low resistance, I probably have a short. If it's high resistance, might be just something going through the windings. And then, once I make sure it ain't a dead short, I'll flip it back on. If it trips immediately, then I'm gonna start isolating components. You got any? How do you usually do it, Adam?
I missed what you said. I was reading comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, one of the guys was
Question.
asking how you diagnose a furnace. What's your procedure for
Like if you
trip breaker on a
there's
furnace?
a trip breaker.
Yeah, I pretty much, I think I kind of heard you the tail end of that. Just, check to see if anything shorted the ground, number one. You can start isolating components by pulling wires off your inducer. I mean, there's only so many things that are going to trip a breaker: your inducer, your blower motor, an igniter. You go from there, right?
Yeah. Kill the power switch and then flip it back on, see if it trips or not. That'll eliminate the wiring between the furnace and the breaker box. Just trial and elimination, basically.
So here's two different questions, but they kind of go together from two different people. So can you OHM, so ohm a high pressure switch, and then someone else asked, they said it's time for a new meter. What do you recommend?
I mean, it depends how much money you want to spend. I mean, field piece is really popular. It's good stuff. I still have the first field piece meter they made. I like Fluke. I've tried a few different ones. I tried the amp probe. You guys seen that in the videos. Didn't hold up very good, but the Fluke stuff is nice, but it's super expensive and it doesn't come with very many bells and whistles. You got to buy everything almost separately. But
He said he wants about $400-ish.
for $400, you can get a pretty good meter. I mean,
Would you recommend Fluke over field piece? I mean, I guess it probably depends on your application, JD.
you don't need a fancy big old meter. I mean, I ever ran service with a stupid little Fluke 600, the little open clamp. I mean, all I have is resistance and voltage and amperage. That was it. I mean, I did majority of my calls. I didn't need all that flame sense and all that other crap most of the time. I mean, it's neat to have.
Eric, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. It's so slow.
It sounds like a limit when you have the inducer and the blower motor running, and you pull the thermostat wire off. It sounds like a open to me.
Yeah. Are we still talking about that blower that won't stop running?
Yeah.
I bet you, I'd be kind of curious, is that one of those smart valves on there? Because that one is kind of difficult sometimes to diagnose.
Well, he said that the unit was 16 years old and that it never did this before. He's never had an issue with it continually running.
That's where that smart valve's from, is from an airflow furnace, Duquesne furnace, with the 3 boards, in which that can be kind of a pain in the butt, depending on whether you got the little jumpers and stuff to narrow it down.
Well, he was thinking it might be a bad board.
Probably is. It's probably a blower board. It's a dedicated blower board, and that's all it does. It just gets a signal from the smart valve. I bet you that's what it is. And then it's a timer.
01453 says when a high limit opens, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong. It's likely overheating, which is what it's designed to do. So it doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with the furnace. I agree with that, but there's something wrong. You have like an airflow issue, a filter issue, dirty coil issue, something's going on, right?
And it only has one board.
Okay, so it's an integrated board then. Does it do it immediately? Does it give you any blinks? Probably best thing to do, email me. That might be the easiest way. Just HVACR survival at Gmail. Just email me. That way it makes it a little easier. That way we don't distract everybody else and stuff. And then I can ask more questions and make it a little easier. So.
I like my Fluke.
Which one do you got?
I have 2 of them. I can't remember the one model number I have, but I have the 902FC. And then there is like the old HVAC meter, which is not a clamp meter. I can't remember what the model number is.
116.
I love both of them, probably.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I got my 87.5, which it's a bench top style meter. It's huge, but it's got like everything in it. If you ever watch some of these other YouTube videos where they test it out, I mean, it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's one of their more accurate videos. Then the one meter you guys hardly ever see on the video, because I'm a weirdo, is my 386 Fluke, which can do frequency through the clamp, and it's dead accurate on freak drives. It's a fancy meter, which they gave me that one in trade for my amp probe that was so problematic, and I'm surprised they literally sent me that for free, and that's a $400 and some odd meter. So I don't want to scratch it up, so it sits in the truck 99% of the time. I use it for like reading frequencies on drives and things like that when I don't want to use the 87. But yeah, field piece, I mean, it's a good meter. I mean, you know, it's not like as accurate. I mean, you can go on there, just go with the specs. I mean, it depends how do you want to know, is it open, close, and, you know, stuff like that. I mean, they aren't as accurate, but they're close enough to where it's not a humongo deal. And field piece is really good about warranty and stuff, even when it's out of warranty. Their support's really good. And they give you a lot of gizmos on it. So, I mean, I just don't like how big some of them are. Those things are like huge. So I like, it's huge. And they're not made in China, but they're made in Taiwan.
I do wish the 902 had a magnet. It would be very nice if they put a magnet on the back of that meter.
You can buy it.
What, the like,
magnet.
hanging magnet?
Yeah. You want one that's fixed on the back?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got the hanging magnet. You can pick that up on eBay for like 14 to 20 bucks.
Someone said the 660 is bulky AF.
Yeah, it is a honker. It's a honker. Then that big rotating jaw thing, I mean, that thing's huge. I mean, it's huge.
But you know what? All Jen Biomed at work, that's all she uses those fluke meters, but she's got like this big old massive honker, but she uses that to check like
she's going for calibration and stuff though.
crash cart leads and stuff like that. But no, she has multiple meters, and they're mostly all flukes because our people are hard on things at work and they don't treat the equipment like it was their own stuff. So
But that comes down to needing certified calibrated equipment, and I don't think you can get field piece calibrated and certified. So, I mean, depending on, like, she works in a hospital, so that crap has to be certified so they can try to avoid lawsuits and stuff like that.
So here's a furnace brand I've never heard of, Modine, M-O-D-I-N-E.
Odine,
Do you guys ever work on
One of
those?
these, like a hanging unit heater.
yeah.
Is that like a Menards or
No,
like
it's
Lowe's
just,
special?
they're kind of, I don't know, they a division of Goodman or some sort,
There's
I don't
or
think so.
Coleman.
I'm not sure. Which Coleman's York?
Okay.
I don't think.
It's like a sister company or a brother company of somebody else. There's like 4 or 5 companies. They probably the same, just like what the Comfort Air is the same as a Carrier, as a Payne, as a, you know, all that, the lower end ones. So, yeah, I mean, it's not one of real popular around here. Modine, like he said, more common, I think, with hanging heaters sometimes. For us, it's more Renzer units are real popular around here.
a what?
Renzer, R-E-N-Z, Resner, yeah. Resner. Yeah,
Never heard of those.
they're just a big hanging furnace. So
Like what's in the garage?
similar, yeah.
Okay.
But then some of the big ones we get into, they're duct heaters. So they'll literally go into a big old trunk line, and then they have an air handler just blows through it. So, but that's getting into the bigger stuff. Wild, Wild West. I like that. Wild, Wild HVAC.
So I know I put your thing in the chat again because I think
Got 74 people out there. Hey guys, don't forget to smack that thumbs button, whether you like us or not. I'd really appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you.
Detecting Arizona is going to send you some pics to your email of it.
Cool.
See if you can check it out. But I guess are you Detecting Arizona? I'm guessing you're in Arizona. So yeah, you probably don't do a lot of furnace work, I would think, right?
Oh.
Oh, JD said extreme tech shortages.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that's huge in our area because that's what you always talk about. You can't find anybody good. Now, Adam, do you have that problem?
It's worldwide.
Yeah, I don't think anyone doesn't have that problem. I think that's why Brian Orr has his school, because he can create good techs, right? Instead of finding them.
Yeah, you make them.
Right.
Yep.
How does this magnet clip onto the back of the 902? I don't
There's
think
a hook
like
on it.
Lick and stick.
There's like at the very top, there's like a little wide bracket like this, and you just slide this Velcro strap through it and back up again. And then
it comes with it standard on the 902?
No, that's extra money. If you buy the Fluke one, you're gonna pay like $49 or $59. It's like a T something. Just buy the one from on Amazon or on eBay. It'll say Fluke on it, possibly. It's the same flipping magnet.
Do you have it
The
in
Velcro is
your,
not as nice. The Velcro is not as nice, though. Huh?
Is it in your toolbox online?
Yeah, I might have it on my toolbox, possibly. You guys do know in the video section, if you go down there, there's like all kinds of different kits and stuff. Of everything I show usually in the videos, I've got a copy of them on there. I'm going to do a kit for Christmas
And
So
whose
if you
idea
guys
was
got
that?
women, yeah, my wife came up with this. She's
The
like,
10 days of HVAC gifts.
yeah, we're gonna do something like that so that if you got a person that you want some stuff like that, but yet still want to be surprised, you can just like send them in there and they can click on the link and they can buy it through Amazon. I make like 2% or something like that. It's not a bunch, but that's an easy way to support the channel and not cost you anything more, and it also makes it easier for your whoever's wanting to buy for you to find the stuff, and you can like say, yeah, I like that stuff, or I don't. And usually the prices are pretty dang close, if not better than most other places. So
You kind of stole our idea.
have you said it yet?
Dibs.
I don't know if I did say it or not, but we weren't gonna give it wasn't gonna be like real stuff. It was gonna be like the whatever 10 or 12 days of Christmas, but like white elephant gifts. We were gonna give stupid crap
Oh.
to people.
That would be funny. You should do that for sure.
Well, that ain't exactly what we're trying to do. I'm trying to make a little bit of money. Actually, it was her thinking of it, but yeah.
We like wasting money. That's kind of our, MO.
I was going to say something to Inficon and see if I couldn't get them maybe to donate a DTEC 3. I'm gonna ask them about
For
it.
when Ricky hits 10,000 subscribers.
I already got 10,000. I got
Oh.
10,400.
So then what are you going to go for?
I was just going to say happy 11,000 maybe or something, just to kind of give it away for all the awesome viewers out there. So
Give it away now.
yeah, but I'm going to try to get them to donate it. I mean, we don't make that freaking much money on this stuff. I mean, I spend sometimes a whole Saturday editing some of these videos. You would think it would be easy. And if I thought out what I was going to do, or if I knew how the call was going to turn out, it probably wouldn't be hard to shoot and just upload it real quick. But a lot of times there's a lot of crap in there. Like on that video that I just did, I'm talking it out and I decided to let it record, but I got thinking you guys are going to get bored. So I end up cutting it out. So, I mean, it's like, okay, this wire's going to here. It's going over there. What the hell is this? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they ain't going to hear that. So I chopped that crap out. So, but yeah, it takes a long time to edit this crap. I mean, I don't want that dead space. I try to make it snappy. And then I get people complain about the music that I have it, and some that don't like it do like it. So,
You ever use? I know Ricky was talking about it a little earlier, and now Ray's saying Nest. No, but like Nest, they say you don't need a common wire, but let's be honest, you definitely need a common wire. If you don't want issues, you need a common wire.
Yeah, it's power stealing. You don't want that.
Do you ever use the FastStat brand of like either the Add-A-Wire or the common maker?
I've seen that the Add-A-Wire is that one where basically digitize it and get you an extra terminal or two. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know if it's digitizing it or what it's doing, but the Add-A-Wire, the FastStat, it basically has a sender and a receiver. I've never looked at how it actually works, but I was figuring there's some kind of relay or something going on in there. But you would have the sender. The sender has 3 wires to it. If you're adding 1 wire, one is basically what I call the traveler wire, and then you have 2 that go to the thermostat. And the receiver, you need the power. Oh, you need to power the sender as well too. I got to think about it, but yeah, I don't know. It's some voodoo magic. I'm not sure exactly how it works. I've just never had an issue with it.
For us, we use the carrier stat. Like we use the 2-wire stat that you could put back at the furnace. That I have it had it on mine for a while. That basically would allow you to get away with 2 conductors, and basically it digitalizes it. It doesn't tell you that, but all the relays are back at the furnace, a remote board. It's a edge stat. That was what we called it. And then, for us, a lot of times we'll use the Honeywell RedLink stuff. If we get into a commercial application where it's going to be a hard time to run the wires, we'll use the RedLink, which has been pretty good. And we've used that in some pretty busy industrial settings where you got a lot of machinery and stuff. And then
I've used the RedLink too. The where it actually is a I can't remember the number on the stat, but it is a true wireless thermostat, kind of. You have to have 2 wires to power the thermostat, but it's using RedLink to go back and forth to the IAQ board. And then you can hook up all kinds of stuff.
You can run it off just battery too.
Humidifier, can you?
Yeah, at least the one we did.
Like those crazy watch cell batteries or whatever, but
no, this one here I thought was AA. I thought we did.
What I'm talking about was like a bright color screen.
Yeah, this one was white, and I thought it had a blue possibly. Maybe I don't think it was color. I don't. It might have been one like the newer Series 8000. It wasn't the old 8000. It was maybe it was a 9000 or something like that. But that's what I ran into. I ended up putting that on two big old air handlers, and basically I had the modem in the middle of the building. I had the base station or whatever you want to call it up on the unit, and then I had the thermostat down on the floor. And it was a packaging place. They make plastic bottles and stuff like that. And where I ran into an issue was when the one furthest air handler was on the other side of a wall. And I asked Honeywell, I said, how does this thing communicate? Do they have to all communicate directly to the router, or can the thermostat, does the thermostat have to talk to the base unit, then it goes to the router? What's the order of sequence? And what I found out is all of them have to communicate to the router. It's not a relay board to where basically it can extend the range or whatever.
Thanks,
So-
JD. Yeah, everybody else forgot, so thank you for that.
What?
He's like, oh, I forgot, and flipped us off. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that number one there. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. It's
we
awesome.
forgot.
We didn't have as many problems today, though. I mean, we only had her screw up one thing, and I almost screwed up the rest, but, I figured it out at the last minute. So,
Hack Free. Do you watch Hack Free,
No, I don't know who that is.
Rick?
I'm trying to think. I think I've heard of it.
He is like, he shouldn't, I don't think he should be doing HVAC. He should be an engineer somewhere. He's always like
Oh.
pulling apart stuff and
So he's
soldering
legit
things.
an evil genius, like someone said.
Yes.
Cool.
There's one guy I like. He's a little vulgar, but he, gosh.
Oh, the one guy.
Yeah, I think he's from Canada.
Oh my gosh, this guy's
They're the
hilarious.
worst.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, he's like, if you want me to review one of your new fang-dangled thingamajig bobs and blah, 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 I have good supporters, so you can take your product and just it up your, and I'm like, dang.
Like, he keeps it real.
Yeah, for real. I mean, but he tears apart everything and goes through it. AVE, yep, that's it.
And
Yep.
he is, and I even like listening to it because he is hilarious.
I don't know where he pulls these words out of his butt. I mean, it's like, where in the heck did you come up with some of this craziness? Because, I mean, he comes up with crazy, weird words. I mean, sometimes I think if you can come up with some weird old words, they're almost better than the cuss word. That's why I try to come up with them, because I have a problem with that. So it's like, man, I love it when he comes up with this stuff. Yeah, solar panels and then blah, blah, blah.
Uh-oh. Curious. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought maybe you're braiding your beard for tomorrow.
Sorry, so late. The family Scrabble game ran late.
Oh, you're a Scrabbler, huh?
I had to
wouldn't-
deal with that work emails.
Yeah, Rick doesn't like to spell.
Yeah, I can't spell. I went to public school and I can't spell crap.
I don't
Yeah.
understand how like Chris and Hack Free and all these guys, they're always showing like the temperature of where they're working. And I feel like they're so energetic on the roof. They're like, yeah, guys, it's like 125 degrees up here right now. And he's like walking around and doing all this nonsense. And it's like, boy, if I was up there, I'd be trying to get the crap done and get off the roof. I'm not going to be talking to my camera for 25 minutes,
Well, yeah, I think, me and you see the same weather since we're horizontal. And it's like their humidity levels are low. So, I mean, it's like supposedly not as bad. I've only been to Vegas once, and it wasn't even really hot then, so I haven't got to experience those crazy weird temperatures before. So I've been to Mississippi and Florida and all down in there, but I've never been much further west than probably, I don't know, Wisconsin and Minneapolis, I think. And then that one I did a flyover to Vegas, but otherwise that's about as far west as I've been. I've been all the way down to Florida, all through all those states, and all the way up to New York, but never been down. I've never been to California. Never been down to Texas or anything like that.
So curious, it's still up in the air. So we have wine with DeWine because it's Governor DeWine, and they coined the phrase "wine with DeWine." Except since I'm at work, when he goes on every Thursday at 2:00, I can't drink wine. Although I have thought about putting it in my boss's mini fridge in our office. There's multiple days we want to drink. Anyways. But he was last Wednesday. He did a press conference.
He's threatening to shut us down.
He was alluding to the biggest thing is shutting down dining room, like restaurant, like in-person dining. I'm guessing probably carry out would still be available, but that's really, he just went on this big thing Thursday about, oh, wear your mask. It's not gone yet. So.
Everybody's been wearing their mask, and yet the rates are still going up.
This is what's interesting. So people here where we're at, I can go to Myers, get groceries, or do whatever, and the majority, I would say half, if not a little bit more, are not wearing a mask. Today at church,
I didn't see it.
I wore a mask just because everybody's a bunch of filthy animals at the moment, and I don't want to get sick. But it's
The old people that need to be doing
Are
it
not
aren't
wearing
doing
it.
it. But I think they're ready to die and go to heaven, whatever.
I mean, there's that. But no, I mean, he was kind of alluding to the fact that if people don't start wearing masks, because we've had like the last 2 weeks had days where we've had record, like we've beat the previous
6,000, I
record.
think it was.
We had over 7,000 the one day in 24 hours.
But just because you got the freaking thing don't mean you're going to die. I mean, I don't know how. I've had
Correct.
so many people lately it's got it and
But-
nothing crap happen.
but
Don't even
here's-
lose their taste or smell.
But here's the problem: is it's still so contagious. The virus itself is weakened, so people aren't ending up on vents for days and then not being able to get off the ventilator. So that part is good, but the virus is still just as contagious. They say it's weakening, so that's why people aren't getting as sick. However, just wait for it to mutate, and that'll be the next thing.
Well, they had it mutating in the mink, and they just killed, I forget how many crap loads of mink,
Yeah, I don't know where you got that from.
I just heard that news on Friday.
which they were going to kill them anyway. But I mean, little guys, they kill them just for their skin. But I think it wasn't like Spain or nothing, but it was some over in that vicinity. They're all hooked together over there. It's like one big continent, so whatever.
Yes, JD.
65 people out there, man.
Curious HVAC is the guy that looks like a redheaded version of ZZ Top.
He is ZZ Top in
Well,
reincarnation.
yeah, he is ZZ Top.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
him.
Yep, the dude with the beard.
You need to watch his video he posted today, guys. It's hilarious. He does his beard grooming routine, and there's lots of little surprises.
In a way to save money.
He's just always thinking outside that box.
Absolutely.
Did you read the comments?
I watched it like within probably 7 minutes of him releasing it, and so I didn't go back later yet and see anything.
I think his aunt left a comment. I don't know if it was on YouTube or Facebook, but his aunt left a comment. She's like, Bill, I'm really hoping that you don't really make your coffee that way.
That's what I was wondering too. Like that's like I would think your heart would be pounding out of your chest
Yeah.
after Coke and Red Bull and then like all that. I don't want to be that close to you.
You're just halfway off the screen.
I don't care.
I'll come over here closer to you.
Don't want you. Don't touch me. Don't touch me like that. Stop.
You sound like my wife. I should give you her.
Oh, dude, they're all the same. That was like probably 8th grade. They taught them that.
Yeah.
Go away. I don't feel good. Haven't used this one for a while. Yeah, here. This is what's wrong tonight.
Rick can be a hemorrhoid at times.
Oh, that's what I always say. It bothers her so much because every night I say, it's always something.
Yep.
It's always something.
Hey, I at least have legit issues here, people.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Small YouTube world, JD says.
Yeah, he's talking about the.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Detecting Arizona.
Yeah.
When he was drinking his coffee sitting at the table, he's like,
Yeah. I'm
Jason,
thinking if
you're
you
dead.
really get up that freaking early, I might do a freaking video because you'll see mine. It'll be like 6:05, 6:07. It goes off. I sleep there again until about 6:30, 6:45.
10 million alarms start
Yeah,
going off. every
hers are
5
still going
minutes.
off. It's like, oh crap! When I take my shower, I get in, get out by 7:05, hop in the truck, fly like hell to get there. Get there at 7:30, and yeah.
well, you know that video was fake that Bill made. Just for the fact that when he showed the beginning of the video, it was light outside behind his window, the blind, right?
Well, he
and
said it was
Bill-
the weekend. He's talking about his
but-
procedure.
This
Thought he was
freaking
sleeping
dude
in.
sends me a text message every day at 4:00 in the morning saying, "Wake up."
Really?
Yes, I'm not joking.
Wow,
Wow.
curious. That's a bit extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you got to remember it's 5 for us, so we got just an hour on you.
It's like a lot of times it's like 3 for me. It's 4 for him.
shoot.
It's 4:00 for him. He wakes up at like 4:30 every morning.
My dispatch woman gets up at 5 o'clock, and I'll get a text at 6 o'clock, almost immediately at 6 o'clock. Here's what you're doing. She'll send me a text screenshot of what I'm doing for the day, which, we're finally going to tablets, which I'm not real excited about because,
That's what they said
I don't
last
know.
time.
yeah, we bought them. We paid for all the crap, but we still aren't gone to it yet. I don't know how much of a pain it's going to be. But yeah, at 6 o'clock in the morning, she gets up at 5, and she stays till about 5 o'clock every day. She's there 12 hours.
And what time do I get out of bed? 8 or 7 o'clock, and I gotta be at work at 8
Yeah.
because I'm tired.
Yeah. She's like the dog. The dog doesn't get up either. It just lays there. Where's
Chloe
she
is
at?
right behind us. Look, her and Pugsley are having a moment together.
They are sleeping back here.
Yeah, Eli. That's why Eli was acting like he didn't want to be.
So
down
you
here
threw
with
him
that.
upstairs by himself. He's probably up there pooping all over the place, peeing, ripping the couch
no,
apart.
he wanted to go upstairs.
Oh,
He needed to get away from her.
they got into a fight again. They're like really bad. She'll screw with him, and she'll bite his face, and he'll try to punch her. And it's pretty interesting. 71 people again. Hey guys, smack that like button before you swing out of here. If
Really,
you do swing
you're
out
a
of
little
here.
ridiculous.
Hey, I'm multitasking.
They know to
that?
hit the damn light button, Rick.
Don't hit the damn like button. Whatever you do, don't hit it.
You could hit the dislike button too.
Yeah,
It
hit the
still
damn
helps.
thumbs down. I don't care. Whatever.
Here's the thing. This is what we found. We've done social experiments. It's not really social, but we've done an experiment where when you ask people to hit the like button, they hit it. If
Yeah.
you don't say anything, you get about half as many likes.
Yep. Well, asking for the sale. Most salespeople don't ask for the sale. I mean, that's like common sense. I mean, you have to ask for it. And I mean, a lot of people don't ask for it. A lot of times you receive not because you ask not. So some of them, they say, granted when you get humongo, but look at Davey 504. The dude's got 9 million some subscribers, and how many times in the video? Smack that like button, smack that like button. If you want that, you have to hit the thumb, or whatever. And he constantly does it, but he's got 9 millimeter freaking subscribers. So, I mean, he's sitting on his butt all day getting paid to make YouTube videos of nothing other than him playing on a guitar and
But I
being
feel like
crazy.
music sells more.
Well, absolutely. It's more diversified. I mean, what we do is not, when somebody that is not in the field comes here, it's because they're trying to not pay somebody to fix stuff.
Laska knows, slap that like button in all capitals.
Yeah,
That's how he
slap.
did.
Slap that.
He said-
like button.
Slappers.
Yes. Which, it is what it is. But yeah. But, we haven't had many questions, so maybe the video sucked. I don't know. Alaska gave me the finger again. Thanks, man.
Someone has to.
I love you too. You're number one. Loving it. I'm loving it.
I'm trying to look and see if there's any more.
I have another
questions.
question to or not to stay for a company with no retirement they love. You're supposed to put these in capitals.
No, they don't need to do that.
I like it. Makes it easier to find. For the company with no retirement, they love the guy.
That messes up everything,
I
and you have
think
to
it
clean up the
depends
messes.
on how much you're making per hour.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know how much you like that company.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how old you are too. I mean, if you're like near retirement and stuff and you like need to save everything you can, I mean, there's a lot of things involved in it. Small companies have a hard time doing all that crap. It just really depends.
Yeah.
I mean, my company's really freaking generous, but it's only because, I mean, that's how he's grown. I mean, nobody leaves. Everybody stays. Nobody quits. I mean, we got people with 39, 40 years there. With his first employee and second employee still work there. And he started in 1980. So, I mean, he takes super, super good care of us, and yet he still made his millions by still being very, he shared it. I mean, he shares it. I mean, he gives us all kinds of crap. I mean, I've never seen anybody as generous. I mean, granted, I don't know if he's like that with all the other departments, but he's good to us. But it's up to you. I mean, if you like it and, you enjoy it there, because, I mean, I've been places where I just absolutely dreaded it and hated it. And I left for $1 or $2 to go there, and then as soon as my kid was born, I got the heck out of there. I mean, because I, was stuck there until he was born, because back in those days, you couldn't, cancel the insurance or whatever when you're already pregnant or whatever. But that's what Adam's saying. If you like it, I mean, it just depends. What if, if the retirement thing, usually you're lucky if you get a match of somewhere between 3% to 5%, and then you might get profit sharing. But not everybody offers that. My previous employer, I think maybe if you're lucky, might give you 2 or 3%. And his insurance sucked too on top of that. So, I mean, it just depends on what you like. It really comes down to personal decision stuff. Got to get your time in too. It just depends on how many years you've been, doing it. So, I mean, the more time you get in, the more experience you get and things that you can prove yourself. I mean, you can pretty much name your price and move to where you want and, things like that. But
And I think that's kind of great with you guys being in high demand, is that you can kind of providing you got the skills to back it up, you can somewhat set your own rate. Like if you,
Well,
I mean, if people are that desperate for good techs.
that's what drives me nuts about people that say they don't make any money in HVAC. You're not
I don't
making any money
understand
because
it.
you're not trying to make money. You know?
Yeah. You see that guy on Facebook, they'll be like, F this place, I'm out of here, I'm going to go do this. And it's like, what are you doing? Who are you working for that you're not making anything? I mean, we pay people that don't have a clue 18, 19 bucks an hour.
Here's the thing, too. By me, the competition is so fierce for help. There's people drastically being overpaid. Like drastically being overpaid. I know of a guy that's making 40 bucks an hour that still struggles to charge with superheat and subcooling, and it's still like, just basic stuff. Doesn't even know how to check airflow or anything else like that. And that's because you can't find anyone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very difficult to find people.
And Curious was asking, how many hours a week are you averaging?
Right now, it's same as always. I can have as much as I want. We got so many PMs that need to be done. It's ridiculous. I mean,
But you normally don't work an 8-hour day. Majority of the
yeah,
time.
I do.
No, I mean, you don't work less than an 8-hour day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll work 8 and get paid for 10 and bill for 10 because of, we charge from portal to portal and stuff like that. So I mean, we charge back and forth and all that. But I've got as much as I want. I mean, granted, with the way I'm paid, it's basically commission based, which is like, hey, we made 50 bucks. We'll give you X amount of dollars of that 50 bucks. I mean, that's the kind of commission we get. We don't get nothing for parts and stuff like that. It's very minimal. So, I mean, if I want to run calls for straight time at 9 o'clock at night, they'll stack them up. If I want to work on Saturday for straight time, they'll stack them up. I can have anything I want, but I don't care to do that. I mean, so.
I've been, all right. So I'm shorthanded. I could probably hire right now another really good installer and a service tech. I'd be happy with hiring 2 guys immediately. Right now it's myself, my dad, and a helper. My helper's former job that he came from, he was working at a factory and he was working 50 hours a week. So I try to give him at least 50 hours a week because that's what he's used to and that's what he likes,
Which is a 10-hour day. I mean, it ain't too bad. Especially doing what we do. I mean, 10 hours don't feel like 10 hours here. At least for me anyhow. Depends on whether you're installing too. I hate being on one place for very long. I like to be moving. I get depressed very easily and drugged down if I stay somewhere too long.
But if you're busy, that 50 could easily turn to 60. But the thing is, I'm not only paying time and a half, I also throw extra money to him, like on his check, on bonuses. Like if you have a hard week, if we're like busting, humping all week long, I'll give him an extra couple $100 in a commission or bonus or whatever in his check.
That's awesome.
Adam JD said he'll work for you. He said, what can I break first?
Mm-hmm.
And then Curious, he said, interesting.
I pick up the hints that you're throwing down, Curious. So.
Oh, yep, I see. But you know what, though? I feel like it would be way too hard for someone to compensate you just in the benefits that you get from your current employer.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I mean, I like what I do. So, I mean, I've still got some things I want to learn yet. I want to get good at the chillers and some more of the industrial stuff. So, I mean, that's my struggle right now. Which, usually I see that stuff when I'm on call, but otherwise. So you want to
come move here and just do residential with me?
I couldn't live in your state's the problem.
Yeah, we don't, especially not in Chicago.
I couldn't deal with the gun laws and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't want to be unarmed.
Well, if you're not in Chicago, they do have concealed carry permits.
Yeah, but ain't it like harder than heck? And then you got to don't you guys even have to get a permit to get freaking ammunition?
I mean, to buy a gun, you need a Floyd card.
Yeah. Floyd card. It's like some sort of background.
Card. Oh, okay.
In addition to the normal background check. Yeah. They're very, very, very crazy strict over there.
Someone just asked you, Rick, how much a supply house will charge you to open the door after hours in Ohio?
It depends on which one, but it used to be 50, and I think now it's around 100 to 125, 150. So somewhere between 100, I think, 150-ish. And some of the guys don't live in town, so some of them may have to travel 45 minutes. But we try to stock what we need, but, it just depends. But yeah, that's about
I don't even know the last time you had to have a supply house open.
that's why a lot of the places try to have redundant equipment, especially on like the factory stuff. So, I mean, like on the one, I didn't show it, but it was like I did a grocery store and they had like, I think it was 2 horse or 3 horse condenser motors. They were huge and they were special order 460 volt and it wasn't happening. I had to put a garden hose sprayer underneath there to keep the head pressure down. It was middle of summer.
Oh yeah, that grocery store one.
Yeah, that was bad because I mean I was trapped. It was like other calls were coming in for even their own grocery store chain because they have multiple locations, sometimes an hour apart from each other, and that was bad. There was no getting nothing.
Isn't that crazy when you get like, all right, if you get to the point where you're slow and you're like, man, I wish I could, you know, last winter was a bad winter. I was struggling for work. We were averaging 30 to 40 hours a week. And I was like, man, I wish we could just get something going. But then when you get so busy and you're overwhelmed and like there's so much work going on at all times, like major work, major repairs, you have compressors, you have change outs, you have all kinds of stuff going on, condenser coils, evaporator coils, this and that. You're like, I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. You know what I mean? Like there's not enough hours in a day to get it all done.
Yeah, because I have a hard time saying no.
What's that?
I have a hard time telling people, no, I won't be there until tomorrow.
That is also my problem. And I've been discussing that with my dad recently because he has always been under the mindset. He's been doing this since the 70s. He's always been, his thought process was, we'll be there today. We'll get it done for you today. That's always how we've been. But now we're so undermanned right now that I tell him, like, we just need to be able to tell people no. But our longtime customers are not used to hearing no. So they like don't take no for an answer. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, you're too busy right now, but we're like booked out for a week. We're too busy today. And then they call back the next day. Okay, how about today? And it's like, we told you no. We told you to call somebody else, you know?
That's horrible. Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, it's I'm the same way even with like people I know and stuff. I mean, it's so hard for me to say no, but I'm getting better at it, big time better at it. Because I just, I don't know what's happened this year. Things have changed to the point where I'm burned out to the point where I just don't care about the money anymore like I used to. I'll still do the good job, but I don't want to kill myself to try to do extra stuff more than what I need to.
It's because you're getting old.
It probably is.
This year has also been pretty stressful with the whole COVID thing and people really not being able to go out, not vacationing, not hanging out in public as much, you know? So all you're doing whenever I feel like all I'm doing whenever I'm away from my house is working, like 100% of the time. And it's kind of, you know.
We didn't really do any vacation. I mean, I did that little trip with Dad on the motorcycle. We didn't even do it overnight. I mean, we just drove to southeastern Ohio, Virginia area, West Virginia, and rode down there through what they call the Triple Nickel, which is like a real windy highway. And, you know, we rode the bikes down there. But usually I would, you know, and it's been a year or so or two since I've been down to Hatfield, McCoy down in West Virginia. I mean, usually I go down there, and those are the little vacations for me and whoever I go with because she can't ride in the Razor or whatever. But we haven't done nothing this year for any type of vacation stuff. So sitting around the house is about as exciting as it got.
Although you did have lunch with Bill.
Yeah, but that was also to take her flute up to Detroit and get it fixed, which she just went up there again yesterday.
I have my flute back.
And then she drove right by the restaurant that we ate at.
Yeah, so I reminisced curious when we drove by on the 4-lane. Yeah, $450 later for, you know, a COA on my instrument.
Because everybody knows what a COA is.
It's just like,
Did
realignment.
you like the movie Anchorman?
I watched it, I think. It's been forever since I've seen it.
I was just going to say.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the memes.
Oh, you never saw it? Come on.
I think I have.
I haven't.
Ron Burgundy plays jazz flute.
Yeah. Hit him with your flute, Greg.
Oh.
And then they have like, you know, see it says meanwhile in the flute section, there's flames coming out the end of the flute.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty fancy.
What else do we got going on out there? Anybody got anything for us or anything like that?
Did you talk about what happened at church today?
Oh, okay. So we're sitting there, and we had some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds today.
Yeah, no big deal.
I'm running sound, which, you know, I'm up in the second story area, and it's I was looking on the cameras at home to see how windy it was because I could see the brushes going back and forth. All of a sudden, go boom! I thought, oh crap, man, lightning must have hit the building. I thought, man, I wonder if we should shut the equipment down, you know, because we got all this audio equipment and all the video equipment. And I'm like, and then it happened again. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Come to find out, one of the panels came off one of the HVAC systems and flew across the roof and smacked. I've never heard a freaking door hit as hard as what this thing did. But
Well, you know what it was, right?
huh?
It's all because of trigger control.
Probably. They're all stripped out.
Yeah, they were.
You know, they only hire me for the refrigeration. Otherwise, they pay another company because they really like the maintenance guy really likes the guy, even though he ain't the guy that works on the equipment. And, you know, I ended up going up there and after I got done and ran some self-tappers through that base trim down at the bottom. It's super, super thick. That sucker ain't coming off now. But
And what did you text Moose, the maintenance man?
I forget. What was that? He didn't even reply to that other thing I
Well,
sent.
and our maintenance guy was,
He's our neighbor too.
he's just, yeah, our neighbor down the road, but he's out on vacation. But yeah, what did he say? Or you told him
I'm trying to think where it's at.
that when you put the door back on, you make sure you use all the screws or something like that.
I wrote him, I said, I use enough screws to have my doors blown off. It didn't even probably make sense. And I happy face with hint, hint. I use enough screws to not, it should have said not have my doors blown off. I thought he was there, but he's not. He's down in Florida or something. He goes, I feel like I missed something. I'm down in Tennessee right now. I'm like, 60-mile-an-hour winds. I guess the door came off on one of the rooftop units and slammed down on the roof. I'm going back up to a little while to put it back on. Oh, great. Thank you. Started to come down outside yet? Yeah, I think so. But blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he has another company do it, which is fine. I almost don't want to take care of it because if something goes wrong, then
It's church.
yeah, it's too integrated. However, I do the refrigeration there, so whatever. What is R718?
I am drinking scotch right now. That's kind of my
Oh.
favorite drink. I don't
Really?
always. If
You're
I'm not
getting
drinking
fancy.
scotch, then I have my bushel.
Oh my gosh.
I got water, and that's it. I wouldn't mind some more beer. I haven't had hardly any beer for a long time.
I drank a little bit too much on Friday, and it wasn't during the show. You know, I'm always
I was
throwing
just
down
gonna
during the
ask that.
show. But it was after the show because we like stay and hang out and talk to each other and BS for a while.
Yeah, left me out.
And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel left
So
out.
this is the first time I'm drinking this weekend.
Really?
So yeah.
I wouldn't
Kinda
mind
come
it.
after Friday.
Rick was very upset. He was very.
Oh, whatever.
He was just in the fetal position crying.
Yeah, it's all right. I knew Joe didn't have the power to do it, so it was okay. I understood. Joe's just a helper. He's a roadie. So. Shka-boom! How's that feel, bub? Yeah, I only drink when I'm awake. I like that. I've had people like that. I had a guy I worked with when I was training with one of the guys, and he'd literally drink 6-pack on the way back from one of the stores way out
Look
about.
at Arizona. He just had his 1 year sober this week. That is awesome.
We should drink to that.
Yeah, cheers.
Just kidding.
I've got a Mountain Dew. That's what I'm drinking.
Nope, that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh,
A friend of mine I grew up with has what do they call it? Your liver, fatty liver disease or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
So, and he's like a whiskey connoisseur.
Ooh, going for the hard
He's the
stuff.
type of guy that he's got like $15,000 worth of whiskey on his bar wall, and he had to quit drinking.
Wow.
So, Adam, they asked,
Do you have a favorite
Favorite scotch? Or a scotch?
I do like. This is not like the better Glenmorangie, but I've been trying to be fiscally responsible. But yeah, probably Glenmorangie or Macallan.
It's all Greek to me. I can only do beer.
I don't do scotch. I like wine.
I can't believe it didn't. I thought it would have stopped that. There's cuss in
what?
there. That's horrible.
That's because I approved it.
Oh, nice. You vulgarity. Man, oh man. I was
We're
gonna say,
gonna
I
be
have-
out here for a few more minutes. I'm gonna light up a stove.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I
Hand in
mean,
hand.
I'd be great if I had some like questions or something. That way I don't feel like we're just like killing your time or something there.
Killing
But
my time or everyone's time?
everyone's time, I guess.
There's still people watching.
It's a hangout thing, you know. I don't care. It's only 10 o'clock here.
I'll probably have about 7 minutes of smoking this until my wife comes out and beams me out.
Oh, so you got to get that ultraviolet light that kills that smell.
I tried running, so I thought it was working when I was out here. that bipolar ionizer, but it wasn't working.
No, that's
So
so
it came up.
strong. That's a hard smell to get. I did take the one out of my furnace and gave it to my dad because I thought the bulb was old. That's one reason why I replaced it, and I couldn't get the bulb, so I just bought a newer one. And I put it in his house, and his basement had that basement smell as you went down in there. And so I put it in his ductwork, wired it up, flipped it on, fan on, and I came back, I think, later that night, probably about 3 hours later, and that smell was practically gone. So, and that's after the bulb was about a year old, and it's good for about 2.5 years area. So, yeah, it's a hangout, Rich. Just hanging out. Don't worry, be happy.
And Adam, Arizona was asking if you've had Woodford Reserve Scotch.
I'm not a big bourbon guy, but yes, I have. I did drink bourbon for a while, but I don't know what it is about Scotch. I just prefer Scotch to bourbon.
Tastes like candy, right? Is it
Mm,
similar to the Scotch candy?
No.
No.
Butterscotch?
No,
No?
I doubt it.
So, I don't know. It always reminds me of medicine. Medicine always made me want to throw up, like instant gag reflex. So about the most I can do is regular beer. I don't know why it is that way.
It's an acquired taste.
Well, I guess the beer was too when I first did it.
I
It was
don't
like,
recommend trying to acquire the taste on cheap Scotch
yeah,
because you're not going to acquire it.
nice. Yeah, I don't know. There's times though in this hot summer, man, the beer's just so good. But I haven't had hardly any for a
Especially
long
when
time.
it's free at our favorite Mexican place too.
Yeah. When I go in there and do something, get paid, and then also, hey, come back, I'll buy dinner. Okay, cool. Hey, refrigeration TV, what's going on, man? Haven't heard of you for a while.
If moonshine is popular up north. I mean, not up here.
Not crazy popular around here. I mean, people talk about it, some of the hillbillies and stuff, and they'll go down to Tennessee and West Virginia and pick some up and things like that. You can buy it legal now. So,
My neighbor has relatives down south, and he always brings up, mason jars of moonshine, which is cool. I did work for, I'm going to say the name. I don't even care. Nobody knows me, right? My name's Chris Stefanovich. So
from Southern
did-
California.
I did work for a company called Corn Products, which they make a bunch of, I think, corn oil and all different corn products, right?
Nice.
And huge company. They have like the railroad going into their factory and all that. So when I was done, the guy's like, when you're done here, come see me. I have something for you. I'm like, okay. So I went in there and he's like, this is what he said. I'm not supposed to tell anyone about this, but him and a bunch of the guys in the back of the factory have like a little moonshine rig going on. So he gave me a couple
Nice.
drinks of moonshine.
We've got a corn, what the heck, ethanol. We have an ethanol plant here in our town. And so that wouldn't surprise me. They could probably do something like that around here. Kind of curious to see how that takes off here next year, depending on how things go.
Oh, here JD has a question. He wants to know, won't the flames in the HVAC kill the COVIDs? So I'm guessing maybe you're thinking, what, the flames from the burner?
The flames from the air flow in the house don't ever come in contact with.
Yeah.
There's a thing
never
called a heat
heat.
exchanger.
Yep, it exchanges.
Yep.
The heat.
A big metal box, you burn the flame inside the metal box and it vents out through a pipe. And then they blow a fan over the outside of that big metal box and then it makes the house warm. That's the simplified version.
Oh,
There's like a
someone
big
else. Someone else said that CO kills the COVID, right? LOL.
Sure.
There's a big argument going on right now of what's the best thing to do. Do you bring in fresh air to your house? Do you?
I've
you
seen
gonna-
that. Yeah.
They
one of
started
those-
doing that and then they found out their equipment wasn't big enough to overcome the extra heat load.
Well, a lot of houses are older houses, right? So if you're bringing in fresh air to an older house, yeah. But UV lights like Remy Halo, which is not like really a UV light, it's something completely different. And then
Six
electronic air
technologies in one.
cleaners and bipolar ionizers. But a lot of people are against all that, and all they want is fresh air.
Yeah, well,
Not
buy
me.
a makeup air unit or a heat recovery deal where they bring the outside air and run it through the little crisscross there, bring it in that way.
So JD was
honeycomb?
asking, what's the
Yeah,
temperature?
the honeycomb.
What's the temperature in the heat exchanger?
On the outside or the inside? And it's going to try to keep duct temperature somewhere between probably 50 and 70 degrees warmer than what it is going in. That's usually the normal temperature, right? Somewhere in that ballpark.
But, they were thinking that during the summer that they're saying, oh, heat kills COVID.
What age do you guys
No.
like to start checking heat exchangers for cracks? I like to check them at the first year.
Every time.
Every time you look at it. You put your name on it, check the heat exchanger, make sure it's good. I had, when Lennox had some of their new furnaces come out, I had some that literally cracked the first year. It was a bad design. They didn't do something right, and it cracked. I forget which one it was. It was a 90%er, but it cracked. They basically direct impinged on the heat exchanger and caused it to crack. So check them all. Anytime you put your name on it.
I heard there's a couple of really good heat exchanger classes out there. I have not yet taken one, but I have one of those books. I can't remember what it's called, but there's a is it the Heat Exchanger Experts? I don't know.
Never heard of it. Because, where I worked at before, we was a premier Linux dealer and we sold carriers. So, those are the main brands. Now, granted, we did freelance too, if you want to call it that. Whoever called in, we went and ran the no heat call or no cooling call. So we work on all kinds of crap. Where we're at now, we mainly just work on our own stuff because they're dedicated customers and we got plenty of work there. So, I've seen a lot of different things, but here it's just the same old carrier stuff usually over and over, or Mitsubishi or something like that. So I know what to look for. For like when I go out to do, say, a carrier, I check the resistance of the igniter. I make sure it's underneath, the 95 is where they use 90 to 95 is where they say replace it at. I'm shooting for 75 to maybe 80 at the most.
Oh, isn't that different compared to nitride versus carbide?
Correct. Nitride is, I don't even know if they give you a resistance reading. I don't worry about it. I've only had to replace like 2 or 3 in my whole life so far. So, but on a regular silicone freaking igniter, whatever you want to call it, yeah, anything anything at 90 or 95 is they want you to replace it. Which I didn't grow up with hot surface igniters. I grew up on Linux, which was spark ignition. So we never screwed with freaking igniters. So it wasn't a big deal for us. Coleman's had it and stuff like that for them trailer furnaces, but we weren't big into the igniters. So we didn't have to deal with that stuff very often. But I check the igniter resistance, I check the heat exchanger, I wash out the trap, check the burners, make sure they're not all rusted up, which can cause you some issues down the line. Depending on if it's a carrier or not and what the age of it is, I might yank the blower out and check the secondary heat exchanger. Usually you can see it starting to take a crap at the back area. Check the blower wheel, wash it if it needs it, and check your exhaust intake and exhaust and make sure that they're vented correctly. And
amp draw both your motors.
Check your capacitors. Those are kind of my usuals that I do. Just depends on how much time I got and stuff like that. But yeah.
But what I always struggle with is what you're charging for the price of a cleaning check or maintenance. Because to do all that, and if you're going to pull out a combustion analyzer or whatever, you have all these companies that are doing stuff for what, $60 or whatever for a maintenance.
We don't do it. We just charge our $65 an hour that we charge, but we charge drive time. So an hour might end up being $100 or something like that. But then, like, if it's local, it might be a $15 gas fee or something plus that. Everything kind of nickels and dimes up. And if it's somebody further away, it really kind of costs a lot more for them because we charge for drive time too and back. But we don't do that special. We might have a couple specials, but see, we only have the certain guys that are not commission based that are just straight hourly. They're the only ones that do that. But it just depends. But yeah, we don't do that crazy special. My old place did. We do a $39.95, a $49, a $59. And you would get that if you bought the planned service or the energy savings agreement, which we sold those cheap. They're like $140 a year, and we come out 2 trips and gave you 15% off any additional trips. We were cheap. So, it was a good deal. If you didn't know what you're doing, it's a real great deal. So,
Yeah, exactly. When you're doing Rich says when you're doing a $59.95 checkup, you're not checking anything. You're just getting your foot in the door to sell something. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them are. I wasn't like that because, I don't know. I'm just there to, do so. It's something, we used it to keep us busy. We used it for when we were slow. This misconception that we got to have it checked before we turn it on. Bull crap. If, why don't you look at it as hour meter? Do you change your oil in your car when in the fall and in the spring or whatever? Or do you change it after you run so many miles? / same thing as being hours, That's how I ended up getting the customer. I did an off-season energy savings agreement. I give them an extra $10, $20 off if they would let us come out and service the furnace in January or February. For Ohio, that's when we're slow, is January and February. It starts getting really slow. February to March is like the worst for us. That's when like nothing's happening, nothing's breaking, nobody needs us. Everything's already broke that's going to break. But for me, since I do ice cream, that's when the ice cream places are getting ready. So I'm busy again in March. But
Well, I don't remember if it was you I was talking to, Rick, or somebody else, but we were talking about doing, combustion test on furnaces. And the conversation was that if you do a combustion test when it's like 40 or 50 degrees outside, the readings are going to be completely different, especially if it's a condensing furnace and you're bringing in outside air versus when when it's 10 degrees outside.
yeah,
So
I can see
you're trying
that.
to set up the furnace. What are you setting it up as? Like what do you what's the best? Because what is the purpose of doing it? That's probably a good question for Jim Bergman. But
The
what is the
purpose of
best
the
temperature
combustion?
outside? Yeah, like when should you be paying attention to setting it up?
I see those issues more with oil furnaces. I mean, because, the draft is so greatly affected if it's not very cold outside, making sure it's burning clean. When it comes to natural gas and propane, I don't think there's a whole lot you're going to be able to do with it other than check the gas pressure. I mean, you can make some minor adjustments, but
That's all you can do anyways. It's either, you're basically your combustion air, your gas pressure. That's it.
yeah, there's not a whole lot more you can do. I mean, check your temp rise, things like that, but some of that stuff's a little overrated, I think. I mean, but the oil furnace, that one is weather dependent. I mean, you got to be cold enough, otherwise you don't get the proper draft, and that throws everything off. Yeah, Hughes, man, what's up, buddy? Late to the party. Everyone say hi to Ryan.
He won a. That's true, Joe. That's a good point.
What's up?
He said you're checking the CO and O2. Hughesman is the one who won that the field piece manifold from us a couple weeks ago.
Yep. Yes, sir. Old Ryan, man, he snuck in there and got it. Had some poor kid that could have probably used it, probably didn't have no money. He was just sitting there just wanting to have his first gauge set, and Ryan came in and got it. Give him a hard time. I love it. That's why I don't try to call in on stuff like that. What?
Oh, he likes them.
What's that?
He said they're awesome.
Oh, I bet they are. Free is always good, man. There's nothing better than free. But
I saw he posted a little thing on Facebook. He's like, I almost feel guilty for taking these. He's like, I'll get it over very quickly though.
exactly. I won something on Zach's channel from True Tech Tools and stuff. I won like a $50 gift card or something. That's how I got one of my wireless probes or whatever. Then after I complained about Testo, they gave me a hat and a wireless speaker. But
I was on, I don't remember how long ago, maybe a year and a half ago on Skilled Trade Up.
yep.
I made it all the way to the end, and then Zach told me the last question was wrong. And I questioned that. And the next morning, I was getting ready for work. I was dropping a deuce on the toilet, and I was Googling the question. And I was right. And then I sent him a screenshot of the definition and the answer to the question or whatever. And I sent it to Zach. I'm like, no big deal. I just want to let you know what you had down was incorrect. And he's like, well, I'll send you the prize because I feel bad. I'm like, no, don't worry about it. It's cool. But I just want to let you know.
Yeah, nice. And when he dug some of those questions out of that book and stuff, I mean, there was some hard ones at the end there, or
Some
you
were real
forget.
hard.
Yeah, it's stuff that you just don't remember because it's like not something you would normally think of.
Did you hear about the whole conspiracy with Yamo?
No, what was going on?
Oh, this is a great thing. Zach was so mad, and I apologized to him, and I actually hear. So Yamo called in, and he was on
Zach's
Skilled
channel?
Trade Up. Huh?
To Zach's channel?
Yeah. I mean, this is a long time ago. Yamo
Oh.
called in, and it was like and as soon as he called in, I started texting Yamo. I'm watching
you were
it.
giving him answers?
I started giving him the answers, and he made it. And Zach's like, I can't believe it, Yamo. You've made it past like level 3. You're on to the last. He's like, this is unbelievable. And and he like ended up winning the grand prize. And Yama would be like, the answer is B, and then he'd be like, no, because it would be like a lag until I would get it and then text Yama, and then he'd be like, no, I'm changing my answer to C. Change it to C.
Oh no.
So he won the whole thing, and Zach's like, this is incredible. Nobody has ever won the grand prize. You're like the first person ever. And after the thing, we were talking to Zach or whatever. And I was talking to Joe. I was talking to all the guys. I'm like, I just want to let you guys know I did this. And Joe's like, I freaking knew it. I knew you were texting Yama. There's no way he got those right.
That's funny.
But I told him, like, I'm going to send Zach the money for the prizes. I was just doing it, as a joke or whatever. So we brought Zach in, and I told him, like, I'm sending you, I'm PayPaling you the money for the prize. He got freaking pissed. He was mad. He's like, you're exploiting my show. I'm like, it was a joke, dude. I'm sending you the money. It's not like whatever. But yeah.
So there's two comments.
You're an asshole.
So
I thought
JD,
it was funny.
I would have figured it would have been. I mean, you're making up for it and you're being truthful, but
JD asked a question. He said not sure. He just made a statement / question. Not sure how heat pumps will hold up on the cold Northeast winters.
I have one. I run it like a little banshee. Mm-hmm. I've got my temperature chart when it gets down to, I've ran it all the way down to 13 degrees out, and I can tell you exactly what my temperature rise on it is, and it sucks. So I have tri-fuel. I have a 93% gas furnace with a heat pump and electric strips. So I have electric strips in the top of my furnace, and when you see her install the ultraviolet light video that we did, you'll see them, and you'll wonder, what the hell is those elements on the side of the furnace? And that's my electric strip pack I put on the side of the furnace, because propane gas got up to $5 a gallon, like it's probably going to do here if they try to shut down the oil again. So can't wait.
807 Epstein Viho says, sir, how do you notice a non-inverter AC running low on refrigerant or Freon without using gauges or clamp meter? I would say put your hand over the condenser fan outside, and is it blowing hot air? That's about all you got, right?
Mitsubishi told me that they'll run low on, I forget how much it could be low, but it's a lot. And it just speeds the compressor up to compensate for it. But we usually, for cheating methods, I think 25-degree temperature rise or drops what we measure. And if we can't get that, and obviously it's going to be affected by airflow, but if we can't get that, then we may put the gauges on. But even then, they don't. You talk to one Mitsubishi guy, and he'll say, no, you can't check superheat and subcooling. That's all variables, blah, blah, blah. But you can lock them into 100% mode, and you can check it, and you can do it. There's not many of them want to admit to it. Best ways to pull it and weigh it in, but yeah.
I took a Fujitsu class, and I thought it was funny. I was actually just talking to Joe about this the other day. Joe and Chris.
You learn how to fight, did you?
Huh?
You learn how to fight, did you? Took a Fujitsu class?
Yeah.
Hiya.
No, I took a Fujitsu class, and they were saying, like, the whole thing was, if your line set length is between, on these whatever models they were talking about, between 15 foot to 35 foot, you don't have to add anything. And then if you're over 35 foot, you have to be very precise, and you have to add point something of an ounce per every foot after that, and you have to be very precise on it. And I raised my hand and I said, I kind of call bullshit on this. And he's like, no, this is how it has to be done. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, why do you say that? I'm like, well, if the condenser can store refrigerant, if you could have a 15-foot line set, it's charged for a 35, you could have a 36-foot line set and charge it for 40. I really don't think there's going to be much of a difference. If it's storing it at that point, you could store it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they got an accumulator, and I'm pretty sure they got a receiver too. Plus, they're constantly monitoring the temps and pressures and all that crap. So I know some of them are pretty stripped down, not a whole lot to it. But
I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying,
yeah, I
think it's not as critical, mission critical as they say it is, right?
Well, it was like that Linux that I had on that leak detector video. I basically had a feeling it was low, so I just did a leak check. I started scanning for leaks and found a leak. So then I'm like, okay, since I know it's leaking and I found the leak and I'm going to quote a new evaporator, do I just go ahead and add a pound or two and see how it reacts? And that's what I ended up doing. So, I mean, it's not the right way, but it worked. It's still working.
Someone has a really creative screen name in the comments, Big Chingus HVACR, and he said later guys need to go iron the family's matching pajamas.
Awesome.
I love it.
Hold on a second. Do we talk about that? Or is that an inside job?
As far as matching pajamas, we didn't talk about it.
But no, it's been on overtime.
Has it?
No.
I know the
I like
Chingus
his
thing is.
little thumbnail or his icon or whatever.
Uh-huh.
That's very clever.
Yeah, I think I know who that is. Someone's going rogue.
You think so? Trying to be sneaky?
I think so.
I think it's Ike or Connor would be my guess.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think it's hilarious. I like it.
I'm too lazy to try to come up with like 5 different names for a YouTube channel, just so I can kind of go in there undercover and create problems, make mischief.
You don't have time for that.
There's no problems. There's only solutions.
Absolutely. Mitsubishi is 100 at 5
that could be
degrees.
your hashtag, Adam.
Yeah, for the
You can bill every time someone says that.
hyperheat or whatever. Yeah. I've been through all the fancy Mitsubishi classes, just didn't learn a whole lot.
He was doodling.
No, I wasn't. I
feel
tried
like
to learn.
in a lot of I don't know about Mitsubishi, but Fujitsu and Daikin, I don't feel like a lot of the class is based on service. I think a lot of it is like install and your line set length and minimum, maximum. This is what you need to do, best practices.
Yeah, because I mean,
think-
that's probably the things that cost them money for warranty.
They want you to call tech support on a lot of that stuff, you know?
Wouldn't surprise me. I don't like to do it because half the time you can't get through very quickly. I have no problem calling them, but usually it's not too bad. I like the stripped down ones where they don't have too much fancy controls in it. It makes it a little easier, but we don't have a whole lot of problems with like our City Maldi's and stuff. I mean, I got the controller and all that stuff, but I freaking don't even know if the program's on my new computer yet. I don't even know if it would work. I haven't used it for almost 2 years probably. I forgot everything that we learned. So, well, what do you think? Have we had enough for tonight? Where are we at on our time frame here?
I turned into a pumpkin.
We're
a long
about ready to
time
hop
ago.
into the 2-hour mark here, so we
Did you finish your cigar?
Is it gone?
I don't see you smoking.
No,
Burn it.
but I could end it whenever we want.
Okay.
Save it for later.
Yeah, it's 10:30. Is that early enough?
It's way past bedtime. I'm like exhausted.
I always get ripped off.
Join the club.
Yeah.
Oh, Rich, he's like, crap, just opened another beer.
All you gotta do is just hit the back arrow. I'll like turn this one on since this wasn't too bad. Hughes man said something.
Let
He
me ask
changed
you
his
a
mind.
question.
Huh.
When these videos post,
Mhm.
does it always show up as yellow? Does it always show up as limited monetization for you?
I think so. I've disputed it every time because I'll sit there and say that it may have mild words like damn, hell, and blah, blah, blah. You can even say the F word as long as it's not within the first so many seconds and it's not in your title and it's not like some other things. They don't care. They just don't like, they click on it. They want the people to get a sense for what they're going to be running into, and then they can leave if they don't like it. If you read how they do it, and I'll be honest with them because I usually got a pretty good review because in my normal videos, I don't say anything at all. And in this here, things fly sometimes, but if I label it correctly, and then every time I've complained about it, you're only going to get a little bit for when they first log in, that first commercial. Otherwise, they don't put no other commercials in there. So unless you go through and manually put them in, and usually I'll only get like 100 to 300 views after this thing posts anyhow. So it's kind of interesting though if you watch it. It's like people are like coming in and going out like. So even though we hold a steady 60 something or 70 something, it's different people.
Grandpa, where have you been hiding? This is the first time I've seen you post tonight.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah. The streams don't ever make me no money. I don't do it for the money. I like hanging out with the guys and stuff, and gives them an opportunity to ask questions and stuff. Because I think, I try to respond to everybody anyhow. Because I don't have a crap load. I usually have about 50 comments, something like that. But anything I didn't cover at the end, like that last one I did, I actually said some stuff at the end, which I don't usually do. So, looking at it later, it's like, man, I wish I would have said this. So, yeah, I was able to cover it in that one. But yeah, it's my doll time. Boom, boom. So
What?
that's what Ray said.
I don't get the Midol.
My doll, ain't that like
That's
pain
for
medicine?
period cramps.
Oh yeah.
I'm real confused by that one.
Maybe he forgot. Is that the freaking dogs?
Yeah, that's Pugsley.
Pigging out
You know
back
what's
there.
Your
Huh?
video in StreamYard is super blurry, but like I feel like whatever you're using your encoder, it's eating all your bandwidth or whatever because it's super
Well,
clear on
she's-
YouTube.
Hmm.
It's super clear on
not-
YouTube. But not
Here,
clear
I
on
got it.
StreamYard.
I'm completely out of that. She's paused
It's
there.
paused, and I even lowered my bandwidth.
Right now, I am at 5% CPU, and then far as what's this thing? Here's my kilobytes per second, 4,200 and something. Didn't we set this thing up so it would automatically reduce res or something if it?
See, that's probably what happened.
See, but Hughesman said it looks good here where he's watching from.
That's what I said. It looks perfect on YouTube, but just me looking at you guys,
Huh?
it's not.
Well, that's weird.
I have to.
You know, you were getting kind of like pixely here and there before too, so but we weren't. So I don't know.
Did you get a different
Interesting.
camera, or is that still the same one you've had?
It's still the same one. I am trying to be responsible and not spend any more money, but I would like to buy a new camera. I want to get the 6400.
That's the one I was wanting to get. I just couldn't justify it. But, you know, if you don't want the blurred out background, I've spent as much on this as what I could have, but I spent the money in the lens, but I like the blurred out thing. We added some new stuff back here in the back. She did the logo, which if I raise the f-stop, you'd be able to see it. Probably could move backwards. See if it'll fit. Come back this way. Come back. See if it'll focus different.
But I can't.
Roll.
I'm stuck. Whoa, careful there, bud. I'm plugged in.
Yeah, it won't really do it. But it's got my logo there.
You can get it off the wall, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on, folks. Rick's going to show off my Cricut artwork I did this afternoon.
Cricket?
Yeah, I used my Cricut. That's all, vinyl.
Is that on? Oh,
That's
it looks
sheet
like
metal.
metal.
Sheet metal and vinyl.
Yeah, it's just a piece of sheet metal. And so it's got the name there. I kind of wanted to make it into a dog tag. And then that one over there is just my logo, like the Target or whatever.
So do you have a special printer for that?
No, it's like, so a Cricut is, it's like a die cutting machine and you can cut paper. I can do like leather. You can even cut fabric, but no, that's permanent vinyl. And you just go to Hobby Lobby or wherever and get whatever like permanent iron, like all the shirts I made for you guys, that's iron on vinyl. And I cut all that out with my Cricut.
Really?
Yeah. That's how I
Wow.
made your guys' shirts.
Yeah, I ain't big time, man. I ain't got 95,000 people.
Quite crafty.
Yeah. It's not bad if you only want to do a few. I don't want to deal with all the tax crap and everything else that he told me he has to deal with. I mean, that just to me, to make, $4 or $5 on the shirt, it's not worth it. I don't want to deal with it. Where's the cross break, Rick? I ain't going to cross break that thing.
Chris
That would
sells
make
like
it look-
50 shirts.
That'd make it look
So-
ugly. I wouldn't mind doing a reverse fold of some sort to it, but
What are you talking about?
he wanted to know if I cross braked it. That's where you do an X so it doesn't flex.
On what?
On my sheet metal back here.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Nope. Plasma or vinyl wrap. That's just regular vinyl.
Yeah, it's just like if you go to Hobby Lobby or...
It's a printer that has a knife blade
But
in
it's
it.
not a printer. It's literally...
It looks like a printer.
Thinks, yeah, and I can actually do... It has like a little tiny blade that goes in it.
It also has a pin.
And I can also put markers in it.
Yeah, and copy people's signatures and
So
put
like I took pictures of the back of some of Rick's pictures from his
childhood.
adopted mom, and like because she wrote really pretty cursive on the back of all of it, and I'm working on Rick's scrapbook right now, and I could actually take a picture of it and have it like with the marker write out her handwriting. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really neat. So but yeah, it's pretty neat. Sheet metal, good stuff. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool idea. She actually made one out of like a rugged looking wood thing, but it had like little pieces of wood in between, like where it was like routed out or whatever. And so when she did
It was slats.
she basically did vinyl cutout and then painted over it or whatever to make it painted on, and then the paint ended up running in the curves and stuff where it basically didn't fit right. So we ended up switching it
I'm
to.
redoing it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna put because when I used you can even use. They have special like, what was it, stencil vinyl, so I can make my own stencils by cutting out the vinyl. But I didn't like the way it ran underneath with the cracks, so I repainted it, and now I'm just gonna do permanent vinyl on top of it.
You know, though, speaking of that 6400, though, even the the 7A3 and their $2,500, $3,000 Sony camera, if you want to record with it, still overheats at like 20 to 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. Now, granted, when we're running in this mode here, you can run it all day, all night. It doesn't care. The problem is when you're recording, the SD card gets hot, the screen's hot, and then the battery's warm, and then the camera eventually will overheat. So from what I've been told, even the higher end models still overheat. So it kind of ticks you off when you spend that kind of money.
Rich said, "Send him a DXF file. I'll make you one in stainless."
Oh, that'd be badass.
But I don't know how to make a DXF file.
That would be really, really freaking cool.
And you could put neons behind it.
Rich made me an awesome one. I said,
Really?
Rich made, yeah, he made it. I should go. You want me to go grab it? You want to look at it?
What,
Yeah, I
what
wanna
did you
see
do to
this.
make that file format that he needs?
He made it for me, and I think it was kind of cumbersome for him to make it because there's like a lot of detail and crap, and I don't think he was happy about it. But yeah, so let me go get it. Hold on.
And I'm sure I could find a way to convert a JPEG file to a DXF file. I'm sure that's probably the file extension he needs for whatever he uses.
It probably just
to
imports
do
it
the
right into his
stainless.
program.
So you do you have, Rich, do you have like a machine that like
Probably
you
a
can put
plasma cutter
Yeah, like a
that's-
plasma cutter where
yeah.
it does that, because that's pretty sweet.
How did that just now pop up? Is this thing like that far behind?
I don't know, Willis.
That's kind of weird. Yeah. That looks
Oh,
pretty
no,
good.
he has a water jet machine.
Ooh, that's even nicer
That
yet.
is fancy stuff there, Rich. Very fancy.
Where was it made at?
What, his water jet?
Yep. Is it American, German? Where's it made at? We do some work for a couple factories. It's got that, and then they've got plasma. They got all kinds of different craziness.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
There's freaking thingamajig there is doing the 8-ball thing again.
That's Streamlabs. It's
Yeah.
my Nightbot.
It's not coming up with nothing new, though. It's the same
He's working
stuff.
for me, Rick. He's working for me.
Wish I had a regular hat like that. Is that the flat bill
American?
hat? that you-
It's a flow water jet.
Okay, American.
All right, let's see this. Whoa. No way.
That is badass.
Dude, that is so sweet.
Wait, he told me to pick up some lights to put in the back. So
That would be awesome.
That's why I was saying get yourself some LEDs that you
Yep.
could change the cover. Yeah, that is really sweet, Rich.
That is really nice. You know, we have an actual plotting table at our work that actually can probably cut that out, I bet.
can't really see. I put lights behind it.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So-
that's so cool.
It's like real bright lights, so you can't really see it. But yeah, it's awesome.
Wow.
That is pretty.
It sits off the wall. It's freaking amazing. The detail's awesome.
That is so
Rich
cool.
is a master. He is a master of his domain.
Now, is that something? Do you do sheet? Are you a sheet metal worker, Rich, or do you just like? Is that something you guys have at your shop?
Rich is a pipe fitter, and he also fabricates stuff. So he has a
Gotcha.
water jet machine, and he makes all kinds of crazy things. But he's the best.
Yeah,
He
that's
sent me
really
some
nice work.
pictures of different stuff he's done in the past. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can, Rich, you could have your own YouTube channel. Just people would sit there and
Yeah.
watch you cut stuff out with the water jet.
Have you seen that guy that does? I think he's in another country, but he basically brings home motors and all kinds of crap and just starts cutting them in half and starts melting them down in his freaking pot and separates the copper from the metal.
Yeah,
and,
Big Stack D. He's in Australia. And he's got 2 Frenchies.
yeah, it's kind of different.
I was trying to get Rich. Rich is like super knowledgeable on all things pipe fitting, right? So he doesn't want to come on YouTube, which I respect, but I thought it would be awesome because if you just listen to him talk for like 5 minutes, you're like, wow, this guy has so much knowledge. But what I thought would be cool is just to have him on for a few minutes. And I thought to have each of the 4 of us record a clip of ourselves brazing, and then play the
yeah.
clips and have Rick, or I keep saying Rich review the clips and saying what he likes and dislikes about how we're each, because he's
He
like
can
a
roast it.
classic.
You love being roasted.
Yeah, why not, right?
And who knows? He
Roast
probably has some
it.
constructive tips or things that we just don't know about because you're not a pipe fitter.
True. True.
He said you should see the Iron Man I made for my boy. Oh, I bet that's probably pretty epic.
I've seen some really cool fire rings. I bet he's made some awesome fire rings and stuff.
Yeah, that
He
is
made
so cool.
he made a big like commercial style smoker grill out of stainless.
Wow.
That would be neat. I know we've got a full-fledged welding shop, and we have it looks like a plotting / cutter. I think it's plasma though. It won't be nowhere near as nice as what that is though. But it can do certain things. I never thought about even doing something like that. They probably wouldn't let me play with it anyway. But
I
Probably
think the
slice
problem with
something in
plasma
half.
is it's not like clean lines like water jet.
not as clean as that. No, nowhere near. Especially when you're blasting through stainless.
And I can't believe you can blast through stainless with water. That
Oh, yeah.
just is so cool.
Oh yeah, we're talking high
Well,
pressure.
I know that, but
Like 4 or
You-
5 pounds.
He was telling me he cuts through anything with it. Like he was cutting like treads, wooden treads for stairs, whatever you want. You know, he's done it
Wow.
all. So he's the master. But not just on that. I don't think water jet. It's like I think the whole key to a water jet is knowing how to program it.
Probably.
and he said no cleaning up afterwards. And whereas Laska said plasma has slag. So
Well, I've seen them do it underwater too,
yeah.
which is always kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. I'm watching that little input meter there. Need to put a gate on it. See when we're quiet.
Stop looking at the meter.
I like seeing it. It's awesome that it actually
So,
worked this time.
Yeah, Ray Ray said water jet will cut up to 1/2 inch thick mild steel like butter.
I can imagine. I think they use it at the tank plant. I can't remember.
Oh, I'm sure they probably do. If they didn't back then, I'm sure they are now.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, plasma has slag even under the water. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I like all this the random stuff.
Sweet.
That is so cool. Oh, and thanks, Huseman.
Rich actually gave me a couple bits of piping advice, which I thought was great for using Schedule 40 PVC. I've never heard this before, but he said it's a trick. Schedule 40 PVC, prime it. You know, you prime it, you glue it, stick it in, you twist like normal PVC. But another trick is sand the fitting, sand the pipe before you do it, and never have any issue with it.
Huh.
And I've talked to other people about that. They're like, you don't need to do that. And then I was talking to my brother, who's another pipe fitter. He's like, absolutely. And when you're going to school as an apprentice in pipe fitting, they tell you to sand the fittings,
With just like regular sandpaper?
or like the mesh, the same thing you use for refrigerator,
Copper or
Drywall.
something.
copper, like the mesh cloth or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that. I had this. Have you ever seen the spray glue that they came out with? It's not really a glue. I was supposed to do a video on it, and the guy gave it to me, and I found it to be, it kind of works okay, but I didn't think it was that great to the point where I was going to make a Humongo video. It was when I was like, wasn't able to make videos no more. But literally, it's like a really super strong cleaner, but it has a chemical reaction with the plastic and causes it to fuse together. So you spray it on there. It's like a spray paint can, and then basically put it together, twist and hold, and then it'll literally will. You can put it on wet, so the pipe could be wet. Spray it on there, put it together. I have it out in the. I think I got a can left it out in the garage.
Rich said you have to knock the gloss off the pipe scratch cloth. Oh, curious, you're still here. I figured you went to bed a little bit ago.
He's probably combing his beard in bed.
Could be.
Night, Bill.
I gotta know, has your wife seen the video yet?
She might have been the one holding the camera.
No, he said she wasn't home.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, does she even watch your videos, Bill?
Yeah. Mine sometimes watches mine.
Adam, does your wife watch Overtime?
Absolutely not. She
Oh.
would never watch your videos. And that's the thing too. I don't think Bill's does, but Chris's wife, I'm fairly confident Chris's wife watches his streams. And, I mean, they were matching pajamas, right? God bless you.
That was a COVID cough.
And I watch Overtime every Friday night, even if Rick isn't home. And like last weekend, I was down in Holmes County all weekend, and I watched it on Friday night while I was crafting.
I really appreciate that. That's
I
awesome.
enjoy it. It's fun.
She never was interested in this crap before.
But I
Well,
like.
we don't really talk much HVAC. It's like 90% BS, 10%, 5% content, 90% BS, and
I'm there for the BS.
And that's kind of that's why I'm like, I sometimes get a little bit anxious. Like I knew I was having some issues with some things here. And then it's like, okay, I want to maybe do something with it and then not have anything particular, but I can talk to myself for probably 5 hours, no problem. So it's not like I have to have anything to talk about. So it's not hard, but yeah. I wonder if we should go ahead and shut this down. If you want to hang out for a little bit after we shut her down, I'll go ahead and end us out here. We're at almost 2:15 here in a second. What do you think? You're ready to go to the pumpkin patch anyway, right?
I've been ready like an hour ago.
All right.
I'm tired.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming in tonight and hanging out with us. I really, truly do appreciate you guys, watching the videos and hanging out and talking and stuff. I enjoy it more than what you know. That's why I try to respond to everybody, whether it just be a thumb or something, just to let you know I actually care enough to let you know that I truly do. I'm not just saying it. So, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. That way you guys can get on and get ready for tomorrow's jobs and stuff like that, get some sleep. And then we'll kind of go from there. All right. So if you guys liked it, you know what to do. And we'll see you on the next one. I'll go ahead and try to get another video, I think probably on Wednesday. And then we'll try to shoot for Saturday evenings and something like that. So I'm trying to do 2. We'll see what we can do with that. So until next time, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I want to see motion, movement. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay?
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.